It wasn't that they wanted to abandon you. They simply had no choice. Hearing this, Li Luo could only sink into silence. Sichuan told him sternly that no one is allowed to resist the results of the life and death draw. Anyone who defies the draw would have no place left to hide across the 10 divine continents. A chill ran down Li Luo's spine as he faced this brutal, hidden reality. News like this would inevitably spark widespread panic and absolute chaos among the people. Sichuan stood up to offer some comfort, mentioning that the battlefield is also filled with rare opportunities. More warriors break through to the king level there than anywhere else. Because of that, many brave souls enter willingly to test their limits. Whether they go by choice or by force, they are all heroes, in a sense. Listening to her, he only felt a deep sense of helplessness. Heroes, it felt more like they were just cornered with no other way out. Sichuan continued her explanation. While the Marquise battlefield is their main entry point, it is unfortunately not the only way they can get through. These creatures are constantly trying to open new paths into our world. We call these dangerous rift points outlets. The moment an outlet begins to form, every academy in the region is mandated to hunt it down and destroy it immediately. Human nations and various powerful factions are usually at each other's throats, fighting for control constantly. Even the great academies are often locked in competition and conflict. However, when the others appear, every faction must cast aside their prejudice and join forces to survive. But you don't need to overthink it right now. While these monsters are a threat to all of humanity, it is not yet time for kids like you to worry. If the sky falls, there are stronger people to hold it up. The room went quiet as the 3 students pondered in silence. Li Luo tried to steady his emotions. No matter how much I worry about my parents, I cannot just rush in there now. For now, my only real priority is to focus on increasing my own personal strength. After all, no monster is more terrifying than the fact that I have less than 5 years left to live. Once she finished explaining, Sichuan began making arrangements for their stay at the academy. You will stay in the small building nearby. It has 3 floors, so you each get your own level to practice daily. I will personally oversee your training. I will also make sure to request some cultivation resources to help you along. Li Luo immediately spoke up. Could I request some spirit water? Grade 6 would be just fine. I do not even need that much. Maybe just 10 bottles every single month. Mengmeng watched him, stunned by his sheer boldness. Is this the legendary social king that people always talk about? Mentor Hythion glared. Did you think Saint Xuan Xing Academy was some kind of charity house? 10 bottles of 6th grade spirit water every single month. Who can afford that? Li Luo begged for just 5 instead. Hythion stayed firm. Not even 1. We do not just hand out expensive resources for free. I will speak with the mentor hall. The best I can do is 10% off. He sighed, feeling defeated. I actually have to pay for this. That is not exactly the warm welcome I was hoping for. He raised his hand yet again. Mentor, can I ask another question? Mengmeng panicked. Is this guy a social terrorist? Hythion agreed immediately, but her gut warned her. This Li Luo kid did not look like a boy who followed rules. He finally asked. How do I get Emperor Fluid? Hythion looked at him in shock. Emperor Fluid, you certainly dream big. That is a top-tier resource for anyone. You must make significant contributions to the academy before they even consider giving you a reward like that. He asked how contribution worked. Hythion laid it out. Academies compete constantly with each other, but we cannot have the masters or the deans fighting each other in the city streets. Ultimately, it all comes down to the strength of you students. If we become the strongest academy in the Eastern Divine Continent, The alliance will grant us massive resources. Bring enough glory to the school, and you can have all the emperor fluid you want. Li Luo felt a surge of annoyance deep in his heart. This felt all too familiar. Even a place like Saint Xuan Xing is this shallow. Hai Thion then added another detail. Also, if your academy points reach 5,000, you can trade them for a dose of fluid. These points are based on your performance and daily conduct. Complete various missions to earn them. You can trade points for special training or even high-level energy arts. These rare and powerful resources are strictly reserved for those who prove their worth within the Saint Xuan Xing Academy halls. Points are yours, alone. Do not even think about cheating or breaking the rules. Li Luo acted like it did not even involve him and warned his teammates. You heard the mentor. Do not go around embarrassing our group. Hai Thion gave one final warning. You should probably pick a captain for the team. To avoid future fights when you are out on missions. Li Luo thought about it seriously. Being a captain offers zero perks or actual benefits. You do the work, and you take the blame. If things go south, you are the first one crushed. Only a fool would want this. Suddenly, the quiet student Shen Fu raised his hand. Finally, some initiative from the young man. It seems he just cannot wait to get started. He stammered. I abstain. Man looked awkward. Me too. I pass. Hai Thion snapped. Both of them passed. So, Li Luo, you are captain. He screamed internally in pure confusion. I was still weighing my options and they just quit. This is getting ridiculous. In another building, a mentor spoke bluntly. You know what is expected? Now go train like hell. He was a top-tier mentor named D. Ni. Kaolak looked pointedly at Engu Lang before asking his question. Mentor, why is our team forced to carry someone with such weak strength? A 6th grade resonance and 9 seals. He is just going to be dead weight. Dodo agreed silently. Engu Lang just smiled. Dini laughed. Why look down on him? When I reached the Marquis rank, I was only a 6th grade too, Kaolak protested. But not every 6th grade can do what you did. Dini turned to leave. Trust me on this. Engu Lang might lack the talent you have, but he will be a great teammate. Kaolak glared at Engu Lang with pure hatred and contempt. You are taking a spot you do not deserve, and you will be the one who suffers for it. He stormed off, completely ignoring the two of them. Those harsh words left a very bitter taste in Engu Lang's mouth. Dodo tried to comfort him. Do not listen to his mocking words. If you believe in yourself, then work hard and finally surpass him. His face hardened with pure resolve. To him, insults are just fuel. They only serve to make me work harder and prove them wrong. Kaolak is going down. She watched him, surprised by his fire. Maybe he has heart after all. Then Engu Lang mentioned, getting Li Luo. I am going to find Li Luo and have him beat that guy up. Dodo bristled. How could I be so naive to believe in him? She walked away, feeling completely confused. I really do not understand why this kid was chosen. Engu Lang watched her walk away with dark, serious eyes. He realized being a violet badge student under mentor Dao Sheng wouldn't be an easy ride. Outside the Grand Castle, the sun blazed. A brimming bowl of wine was offered with a sudden invitation. You guys drinking? The man with the wide grin, chewing on a blade of grass while offering the wine, was none other than Dao Sheng. He laughed, pushing the wine toward the girls. Julu stood behind the door, trembling all over, muttering, You're all against me. Kinger looked around nervously. Beside her, Bai Mengmeng whispered through her hand, Is it just me? Or are we the only normal ones here? Suddenly, Tao Sheng switched the subject. He awkwardly scratched his neck. Kinger, how is your mother doing? She stared in shock. Master, you know my mother? Those nearby gaped as the topic shifted so abruptly. Dao Shang sighed, his voice filled with a strange, heavy regret. We're old acquaintances. Seeing you just makes me think of her. Kinger looked at him with narrow, suspicious eyes, full of doubt. Surely this isn't why he chose me as his student. Dao Shang quickly waved the thought away. No, not that. Kinger, your potential is enough for the Violet Badge. Don't overthink things. Focus on your training and stop worrying. She didn't buy a word of it. She watched him, confused. Why did her mentor look so guilty all of a sudden? I need to ask Mom about this, Dao Shang. Elsewhere, Jin Xiao stood high on the stairs, hands behind his back. He lectured the 3 students below. I have only one demand. You must become the strongest freshman squad in this academy. He looked down at them. Bai Zhuan, during the house competition, you lost to Li Luo. I expect you to wash away that humiliation next time you face him. Don't let me down again. Bai Zhuan snapped to attention. Master, don't worry. I will train with everything I have to reclaim my lost honor this time. Jin Xiao closed his eyes. If you fail again, I will have no choice but to let Hiju save face. Hiju spoke up. Li Luo, that guy has some pretty twisted thoughts about King. I prefer things without any flaws. Kinger's delicate beauty is truly unforgettable. One look and you are hooked for life. If I crush Li Luo, maybe Kinger will finally notice me. Hiju let out a sinister, calculating little laugh. Taking those jade-like hands of hers in mine, ... That would be the greatest achievement of my entire life. He turned to Bai Zhuan. Hey, if you need help, just ask. Bai Zhuan didn't answer, but his brow showed irritation. Early next morning, at the dorm, sunlight flooded the house. Everything felt fresh and full of energy. Girls played in the courtyard. Is this what life at the Sage Academy is like? Li Luo stood by the window, soaking it in. Everything felt vibrant and full of hope. I'm starving. Let's find some food. The dormitory came into view. Walking down the stairs, he greeted Shen Fu, who was busy drawing. Good morning, roommate. Silence. But Li Luo had a plan. This guy is a man of few words. If I'm not careful, he'll disappear. As squad leader, I must look after my new teammates. Li Luo leaned in, rubbing his chin with a grin. That's a very spirited little chicken you're drawing there. Xin Fu's hand shook. I am drawing a phoenix. Li Luo froze, stunned by the claim. He stared at the scribbled bird that looked like a toddler's doodle. A phoenix? Your phoenix looks like it's starving to death. He tried to save the conversation. You just started drawing. It's a nice little hobby, I guess. Xin Fu spoke gloomily. I have been drawing for 10 years. Li Luo was speechless. This is exhausting. 10 years. And it looks like this. I could honestly draw much better with my own feet. Whatever. Let him. Time to eat and figure things out. Li Luo reached the bottom of the stairs. The table was covered in beautiful dishes. Mengmeng whistled happily, serving steaming hot food. She noticed him and blushed. Leader, you are finally awake. She smiled brightly, holding a steaming pot. I made breakfast for everyone. No need to go to the school cafeteria today. Her smile was infectious. Li Luo felt his heart lighten, like flowers were blooming in his chest. At least one person in this squad is normal. He grabbed a pastry and took a huge bite. I'm diving in. A horrific sensation hit him. Li Luo turned pale, his eyes bulging as he fought the urge to throw up. It was disgusting. The golden pastry looked elegant, but in his mouth, it tasted like literal pig slop. The plate of food now looked like a pile of neon green poison in Li Luo's eyes. How could anyone make food taste this bad? He was absolutely horrified. Mengmeng noticed Li Luo's strange reaction and asked timidly, "Captain, what is wrong? Does the food not taste good or something?" He forced a thumbs up and managed to offer some praise. It worked. She fully believed his lie and beamed with a bright smile. That was a relief. At least he was safe from her cooking for now. They called out loudly to their friend, "Hey, Shen Fu, come over here." Mengmeng had breakfast ready. He nervously took the plate with both hands. "Teeth," she urged him on quickly. "Hurry up and eat some." One bite of that cake and Xin Fu felt his soul leave his body. He was pale and shaken, but he stayed determined. "Captain, she made this for us. We have to finish every bite." Li Luo started breaking into a cold sweat. "Man, talk about brave." Mengmeng was thrilled, so he just gave in. She used a fork to stab a piece and ate it with total joy. Li Luo stared in shock as she enjoyed it like it was a 5-star meal. He was baffled. Does she really like this? Isn't her family famous? Is the food at her house actually this bad? The door opened and the bell chimed. They all turned to see their mentor, Xichen, walk into the room. Xichen walked in with her bag in hand and her hand on her hip. "Stay seated. Your first lesson begins today. Once you are done eating, follow me down to the basement classroom." Li Luo raised his hand to ask the mentor a question. "When can we finally go train at the resonance tree?" She closed her eyes and gave an answer. "I knew you would ask that," she said, mentioning the tree and its rules. "The energy at the academy tree is incredibly dense. As freshmen, you can only go once every 3 days. Your bodies simply cannot handle more than that. So you must wait until tomorrow." Mengmeng and Xin Fu were stunned, but Li Luo just sighed at the strange reason she gave. His body not being able to handle it now, that was a real high-class problem to have. Breakfast was finished. The three of them followed Xichen to the basement training ground, with high hopes. It was a dim room with one large window. They stood together in a small circle. She gestured toward the boy. "Li Luo, you are up first. Step forward. I want to see your dual resonance situation, so I can give you proper guidance. Give me your hand." Li Luo was nervous. If she looked too closely, his third resonance palace would be exposed. If that secret got out, his family's enemies would never let him live. They would hunt him down immediately before he could grow stronger. Maybe even a top mentor could not protect him. He placed his hand into Xichen's open palm. But since the third palace was not developed yet, she might not try to scan it. He hoped it stayed hidden. A brilliant light flared like 1,000 fireflies. She gasped, and her eyes popped open in total surprise. Li Luo stayed silent and watched her. "Your water resonance feels like 6th grade," she said. "But your spiritual energy is as strong as a 7th grade. The wood resonance, it is only 4th grade, but the spirit is strange. Did you use a special treasure?" He gave a vague answer. "Maybe, I do not remember." Outside, the wind blew through the leaves while Xichen continued to study the boy. "Dual resonance is your greatest advantage," she told him. "Do not forget. Normally, people do not reach this level of power until the Duke stage. It is a very rare gift. Even a small amount of dual resonance power gives you a unique advantage. Now, I want you to activate and run both of your resonance powers at the same time." Blue and green lights swirled around his body. Man whispered, "Is that it? Is that the dual power?" But Shichan was blunt and immediately pointed out his weakness. You simply have two types of power. That is not true dual resonance. You cannot even do the simple task of merging them into one yet. She gave a mysterious, knowing smile. Well, do you want to see it? Li Luo said he wanted to. A glowing blue energy orb appeared in her palm, radiating light everywhere. Powerful waves of force pulsed through the air, creating a magical scene that filled the entire room with a deep, mystical light. Shichan held the magical orb of light high above her. A massive tiger suddenly appeared behind her. The three students stared, jaws dropping. Li Luo gasped at the intense, overwhelming pressure. This blue water tiger felt like a living creature. Shichan looked at them and asked another question. You saw my first resonance as water. So, do you have any idea what my second resonance is? Li Luo guessed, seriously. That blue tiger, it is a beast resonance. She smiled, happy with his answer. Correct. My second is a beast resonance Seath. 7th grade jade tiger. But in his head, he was being disrespectful. So she is basically a tigress, he thought. Shichan ignored him and continued. This blue water tiger is the physical product of my fused dual resonance power. It has the endurance of water and the savage fury of the jade tiger. It is a perfect combination. The tiger's eyes snapped open. Its combat power was absolutely off the charts and terrifying. Even an elite general couldn't withstand a single strike from that level of power. He felt overwhelmed by the raw dual resonance energy of a Duke-level master. These two distinct powers in my body are just two separate types of resonance. Compared to the real dual resonance power, they aren't even worth mentioning. Her lessons still echo in my head. Shi Chuan mentioned the three flames of the realms, and how dual resonance training is split into 3 stages. The first is fusion, then integration, and finally, spirit manifestation. Usually, breaking into the Duke stage gets you straight to the 3rd realm. She taught me that reaching the 1st realm allows for brief use of dual resonance. This provides a massive advantage during battles with other resonance masters. Shi Chuan explained her plan. From now on, she will use external force to physically combine your 2 resonance powers every single day. You must feel the unique traits of both powers first. Then try to make them come into contact with one another. Li Luo bowed excitedly and thanked his mentor. Outside, the sunlight cast shadows of the 4 figures standing close together. Shi Chuan asked him about something else. She wanted to know if he was studying resonance refining, as she had some experience with it too. Turns out, she is actually a rank 7 resonance refiner. She even holds a position at the Refining Institute. So he can find her whenever he has questions about his refining skills. Li Luo was thrilled. A rank 7 mentor. This is incredible. Please let me hug your leg. This level is at the very top of the Great Xia. To rank in the top 10 with spirit liquids, you must have a rank 7 refiner. The sky outside the castle turned a vibrant shade of orange. Shi Chuan gave Li Luo a few more pointers before moving on to the others. The time passed quickly before she informed the group that training was over for today. The afternoon had slipped away without them even noticing. Most of their future classes would follow this same intense format. She reminded them that at the end of every month, team rankings would be held to earn valuable academy points. If the Gold Tortoise team beats them 3 times in a row, the weakest member gets kicked out. Their faces turned very serious. He was especially worried about Ngulang. His friend was in real danger, and he hoped the guy would work as hard as possible. A new day began the following morning. Soft sunlight filtered through the leaves of the trees standing just outside the castle walls. A lavish and delicious breakfast was spread across the table. Man excitedly urged the captain to start eating before the food disappeared. He stuttered while trying to change the subject. Hearing a knock, "I will go see who that is." The doorbell rang once again. When Li Luo looked outside and saw the visitor, he greeted her with a massive, happy smile. "Zhang King, why did you come over here this morning?" She held up a bag of the most famous pastries from the Saint Xuan Academy cafeteria. "They are perfect for a morning meal. I am saved. If you had come any later, I would have been tortured by that breakfast all over again." It was hard to even describe the breakfast man made. King teased him, asking if he was just acting spoiled. He struggled to explain, insisting she would understand after one bite. Outside, the trees made the whole scene feel quite romantic. She took the lead and asked him to go for a walk. Li Luo agreed, but said he needed to tell his friends first. They walked together along the sunny path by the lake. He could already guess exactly what was on King's mind. He asked what she wanted to say while other students whispered, wondering if he was really her famous. They looked on with pure envy as the couple strolled by. Suddenly, her expression shifted and became much more serious. She asked if his mentor had mentioned the king's battlefield yet. Li Luo nodded, finally understanding why she kept it a secret. She closed her eyes, knowing this information would put a lot of pressure on him, which she wanted to avoid. He said there was no other choice, so she gave him some encouragement. "Everyone is in the same situation, not just you. Even I am. Don't lose heart. Having a clear goal is actually a good thing." Li Luo suddenly blurted out his thoughts, wondering how his parents were actually doing right now. She looked at him with eyes full of hidden worry. "They are surely going to be just fine," she told him. "Instead of worrying about their safety on the king's battlefield, maybe we are the ones who need to be more careful." Li Luo caught her hint and cautiously asked what she meant by that. She asked him seriously if he knew how the names for the battlefield were actually chosen. He mentioned the death lot, but she pointed out that with only 10 dukes and great Xia, both his parents drawing it was too coincidental. Li Luo's eyes went wide with shock. If it wasn't a coincidence, then they were definitely set up. Then Nga helplessly shut her eyes. "I have no evidence. This is all just speculation and my own gut intuition." He asked her back curiously. "But who could possibly have the power to interfere with something like this?" 3 symbols appeared. Great Xia has 3 major powers capable of this: the Saint Xuan Academy, the Royal Court, and the Golden Dragon Bank. He frowned, confused. They are the strongest, but what could their motive be? Is it really necessary? Shadows from the trees fell over them as she continued to give him instructions. "From now on, you are going to start catching the eye of every major faction. I should share these guesses with you. Whether I am overthinking or not, we still need to be careful." Li Luo spoke the bitter truth. "When you get down to it, my strength is just not enough." Someone suddenly interrupted their conversation. "I recognized your back from a distance, senior sister. It really is you, right?" A brown-haired youth appeared before them. It was the Kuding from the 2-star hall. He winked and said it was a total coincidence to run into them while training. Li Luo watched him, noting how relaxed he looked despite the heavy gear. It was clear his strength was impressive. Then Nga looked at him. "Do you need something, Kuding?" He laughed sheepishly, saying it was nothing. He had just finished training and wanted to say hello to senior sister. He asked if he was interrupting the two of them. She answered him plainly. "I am just bringing some breakfast over to Li Luo." Li Luo stood nearby, chewing on a cake. Realizing he was intruding, Kuding gave an embarrassed smile. He had never seen senior sister buy breakfast for anyone else before. He called out that Li Luo was lucky before walking away and shouting a loud goodbye to the two of them. "I will not bother you any longer. Senior sister, if you ever have a mission that requires my help, please just find me." I promise I will give it everything I have. Li Luo clicked his tongue in annoyance. He started pestering her with questions until she had to step away. You have to tell me what is going on here. First, it is a lion, then a big dog, now a puppy. Who are these guys? Li Luo became more and more dissatisfied as he spoke. None of them are even the same type. Fan Nga, do you really want a taste of our family discipline right now? She laughed, then threw a threatening look. Have you forgotten how we handled discipline in this house? Want to visit the training room? He broke a sweat. Hey, I am being serious with you. Why so aggressive? My mom really brought home a monster. Sunlight continued to filter through the trees. She explained that Kuding was just a student she had guided on a mission in the past. She only let him follow because his strength was decent enough. He sighed to himself. I guess your charm is just unstoppable. A soft breeze ruffled her hair as she shared her goal. My only focus right now is reaching the Duke stage. That way I can protect you, House Luo Lan, and find out what happened to our men. She gently brushed back her flowing hair. It was a beautiful sight, but her words were cold and ruthless. As for these boring people, it would be better if they just disappeared. Li Luo felt a chill down his spine at her words. Fan Nga, you said that so nicely, but I assume you mean they should all just drop dead. She laughed brightly and reached over to give his head a playful rub. Li Luo felt embarrassed and afraid. This woman is scary. He grabbed her arm. Wait, Fan Nga. He pulled her hand down, putting on a cold, tough guy face to try and intimidate her. If you showed even a little shyness, the mood would be better. She teased him. Shy? Really? I would love to satisfy that wish, but unfortunately for you, that is not going to happen until you can actually beat me in a fight. Do not hold your breath. He wept internally, wondering if this was the struggle of having a wife who was far too powerful. On the other side of the lake, Kuding was busy talking to his friends. So that is her. He nodded. Yeah, that is him. The group looked envious. He just got lucky and met her first. They mocked him to soothe Kuding. Brother, you are better than him in every way. You need to take your shot. A woman as high quality as senior sister does not come around often. He quickly urged everyone to stop talking nonsense and get back to training. Before they all got scolded for slacking. Everyone left, except for Kuding. His expression darkened into a cold glare. Toward the distance. He stood there watching the two of them walk side by side. As he stared at Fan Nga and Li Luo, his eyes were filled with a dark and poisonous intent. After saying his goodbyes, Li Luo headed back home. His cheerful voice echoed through the building as he stepped inside and announced that he had finally returned. Man stood there in her apron, holding a plate of cakes and asking enthusiastically if the captain wanted some breakfast. Behind her, Shen Fu was shaking while forcing food down, his face turning pale from the absolutely horrific taste. Li Luo declined politely. No thanks. I have a specialist bringing me breakfast I can't refuse. Was that Senior Zheng just now? I just saw her. She is stunning. A bell chimed as someone walked inside the room. Good morning, Instructor Sichuan. Finish eating, then we visit the tree. She handed out 4 purple jade plaques. These are yours. They show your assigned purple leaf jade platforms. Only special students use these. With luck, or talent, you might trigger a resonant echo. Li Luo looked at the others. They seemed worried about the echo. She described the tree feeding off energy. The power here felt incredibly thick. You can actually resonate with this natural power. Energy enters the body as a gift. Shi Xuan mentioned Than Nga's echo. In 100 years, only Than Nga has shown such incredible brilliance. Now even he was nervous. A blinding orb flashed when she touched it. She remembered her first time on the tree. The light from her echo was so bright the whole city saw it. Mengmeng sighed. That senior leaves legends everywhere. Li Luo felt the heavy pressure. That white crane has left plenty of echo stories. The view faded. Having an elite was a massive weight to carry. The familiar, massive tree finally appeared. After breakfast, they followed Saint Xuan. Up close, the tree was truly gargantuan. Li Luo and the others looked like tiny ants beside it. He stared up in awe. Even without climbing, the energy felt completely overwhelming. True spiritual ground. Suddenly, Gu Lang pushed through the crowded area. Li Luo waved, but his friend rushed straight to Meng. "Move aside," he said, then greeted her. Mengmeng turned red and stuttered. Dudu glared. "What are you doing?" Gu Lang quickly hugged. "Li Luo, I'm just visiting my best brother, obviously." Li Luo was speechless. "How's the food at the academy?" His friend was confused. "It's fine. Why are you not eating there?" "Mengmeng makes my breakfast lately." Gu Lang started crying about the "Why do I get beatings instead of love from a beautiful girl?" Dudu asked if they finished all of Mengmeng's food. Li Luo nodded. It was her effort, so he had to finish. Li Luo asked what was wrong. Dudu revealed Mengmeng has no taste. Gu Lang started complaining loudly. "I'd eat 3 big bowls regardless of the taste." Dudu threatened him. "Shut up. Talk to her again and you are dead." Terrified, he asked Li Luo if he ever faced such a tragedy. "Why me?" He looked forward with teary eyes. "I'm in pain." Li Luo just laughed internally. "You are nowhere near a romance. Maybe Dudu is a match." "No way. I would rather die." "Even if she was the last woman, I would never date her." Li Luo asks a sarcastic question. "She is talented and rich. Are you still choosing death over her?" Still, Gu Lang wouldn't back down from the argument. "No way. I still think Mengmeng's sweet and innocent image is more my style." After a few minutes, Tao Hai got tired and shifted the mood. "Seriously though, do you know what's going on with Than Ni?" I just blinked, confused. "What happened? I've been so busy lately that I haven't even stepped outside." Gu Lang looked worried. "That hack Ku guy keeps pestering her." He started venting about the whole mess. Back during the competition, Than Ni took a lot of hits just to hold Hack Ku back and buy me time. Now that guy is obsessed with her. He's trying to claim her, and the rumors are already spreading among all the freshmen. After hearing that, Li Luo burned it into his memory. "I knew what she did for me. I haven't forgotten that debt. If this guy thinks he can harass her, he's making a massive mistake." Just then, an announcer shouted out orders. "All students head to the tree now. Check your nameplates for your platform numbers. Don't get lost." I pushed those thoughts aside and whispered, "Let's move. It's time to go. We can't find Than Ni right now anyway. This whole situation will just have to wait." Li Luo's group joined the crowd heading up. They stepped onto wooden stairs that moved on their own. Glowing branches were reaching out everywhere along the path. The branches shimmered with light. Silver and gold energy radiated from the tree, making the whole place glow. I couldn't help but marvel at the sight. It's a literal wonder. All the students were gathered on one massive branch. I was stunned. A sight like this really shows how much power the Sage Skystar Academy is actually hiding. If this is just one school, how powerful is the entire Academy Alliance? Then I spotted a familiar face ahead. Than Ni. She was mumbling to herself about the platforms. "Looks like the purple jade one is further up." I walked up and started teasing her. "Isn't this the golden flower from our old Namfang Academy?" She looked up at me. Than Ni turned away with a pout. "Oh, the young palace master remembers me. I figured you'd already forgotten your old friends for new ones." I immediately shut that down. Don't talk nonsense. Can a new friend even compare to the bond we have? She froze for a second after hearing that. Then, she started to blush hard. She turned back. What kind of bond do we have? I laughed, totally missing the vibe. Our bond is like brothers. It's just as strong as what I have with Ngulang. Listen, I have an idea. Let's form the Nam Fong Fort. That way, no one will ever dare to mess with us again. She just rolled her eyes and turned away. My platform is right up there. See you later, she grumbled as she walked. Li Luo, you're such a pig. The Nam Fong Fort. You three should just be the three idiots. I watched her leave, confused. What's wrong with my Nam Fong for idea? It sounded like a solid plan. Maybe she's just having an off day. I'll bring the idea up again when she's in a better mood. A few minutes later, I finally found the direction for the number etched on my own nameplate. Near the main branch, a platform was wrapped in a purple mist. It glowed so brightly, it looked like a flickering purple flame. I took a deep breath. The energy here is thick. It feels almost overwhelming. I was ready to start. Then, I saw another familiar face. Wait a second. I watched as Lu turned around. I crossed my arms and acted like I knew everything. I don't know what you're doing here, but my expert guess is that you simply can't find your own platform. He suddenly held out his plate. I'm not trading this time. Lu looked desperate. Can you just help me find where my platform is? I checked his plate and gave him clear directions. Just head up this path for 8 more levels. Take the third branch on the right, then turn left. You should see it. His response was so blunt, it actually made me choke. Just lead the way. He urged me to hurry up. Come on, don't waste any more of my time. We arrived, and I pointed ahead. There? It's right here. His eyes suddenly flashed with a competitive fire. Thanks. Your dual resonance is special. We should fight sometime soon. What do you say? I stared at him in total shock. Is your way of saying thank you just punching people? You're actually insane. Lu didn't blink. I am thanking you. He waved goodbye and headed onto his platform to begin training. Enough talk for now. I need to get back to my own cultivation. I finally settled in. The massive energy flow felt incredible. Just sitting here made me feel absolutely revitalized and powerful. The flow of resonance power is accelerating. I can't wait to see the results of this training session. On every cultivation platform, natural energy is gathering fast. Massive vortexes are forming, and everyone is completely lost in their practice. High above, a group of mentors watches the progress from the observation deck. Kim Tu swirled his wine, smirking at high. So, how is Li Luo doing? Is his dual resonance performance meeting your expectations? She ignored him completely. Seeing her silence, he decided to push his luck even further. Li Luo's second resonance is only rank 4 or 5. That win against Bai Zhuan was nothing but pure luck. She finally snapped, telling Kim Tu to stop being a busybody and mind his own business. Dao Sheng choked on his water, spraying it everywhere. Kim Tu put on a fake face of concern for his fellow mentor. Your reputation is on the line. If you fail now, you will lose your chance at the Heavenly Mirror Tower. She shot back with a cold, mocking smile on her face. Too bad you couldn't keep Qingyi as a student. If you had, that spot on the tower would actually be yours. Sensing the thick tension, Dao Shang cleared his throat to change the subject quickly. Which of these freshmen will trigger the brightest resonance glow on their first try? Meanwhile, another group stood deep within the ancient tree. Mentor Chuzi spoke up calmly, pointing toward the students below. It will likely be Zhu. He has a high rank 8 resonance and a warrior heart. His future looks limitless. Dao Sheng analyzed the situation. Remember, the resonance glow is not just about the rank of someone's power. It also depends on the strength of their will and their mental state during cultivation. Dao Sheng noticed a purple leaf suddenly lighting up in the distance. Someone triggered the glow already. He could not stop praising the young student. It is Zhu. This level of resonance glow is truly rare, even compared to students from the last 2 years. Zhu triggering his glow seemed to catch the attention of all the other top students. Suddenly, beams of light began to burst out everywhere. Even Li Luo started to gather his strength. He focused his mind, feeling the rush of natural energy pouring into his body from all sides. He watched the 2 lights with excitement as his resonance seeds began to vibrate. Internal power was finally sensing with the outside world. Li Luo opened his eyes. Is this it? Over on another platform, Yu Lang let out a frustrated sigh. Still no light. Is my rank 6 resonance just too weak? He frowned and decided to use his secret weapon. Yu Lang closed his eyes and whispered, I am Yu Lang. I have a rank 8 resonance. I will be the fastest. He gritted his teeth and repeated the lie in his head. I am Yu Lang. I have a rank 8 resonance. I am the fastest. His eyes snapped open. I am Yu Lang. I have a rank 8 resonance. A massive explosion of light burst from him. I am the fastest man alive. Dia gasped in shock. He could not believe it. This resonance glow from Yu Lang is just as strong as Beijuan. Chuzi looked on, confused. Wait, I thought Yu Lang only had a rank 6 wind resonance. Honestly, I thought he would be the only one in the class who could not trigger a glow. He watched the wild energy carefully, his eyes cutting through the blinding light. The glow is a bit hollow. He is using pure willpower to force it out. Average talent, but amazing spirit. Just then, a brilliant green light caught the attention of Mentor Hai Thion. It is Li Luo, 2 separate glows. Dao Sheng was stunned by the rare sight of dual power. Kim Tu mocked the display. Even with 2 glows, it is still dimmer than Zhu Lu or Qing Yi. At best, this is only equal to a lower rank 8 resonance. The glow lasted for 10 minutes. Dodo finally smiled with pure satisfaction. That felt incredible. This boost in power was worth more than a whole month of hard training. Then she looked toward a nearby leaf and froze in total disbelief. That guy actually did it. He is not as useless as I thought. Yu Lang slowly regained consciousness. I did it. 10 seals. Give me a little more time, and I will reach the general stage. One by one, the resonant glows faded, until finally, only one stubborn beam remained fixed in place. Someone gasped in shock. It has been 18 minutes. Then another voice rose, surprised that he was nearly catching up to Thianenji. The crowd's whispering intensified. Look at that. It has been 20 minutes already. I recall Senior Thianenji broke the record at exactly 20 minutes, right? Stunned, someone cried out. Lilac just passed Thianenji's time, and she is a 9th grade light resonant user. Bakhim fumed with rage. That guy. Thursday Din stared in disbelief. Could Lilac really hold out this long? Thian Ni watched from a distance, a sympathetic smile playing on her lips. Perhaps having no resonance made him stay humble, though I knew it was not a bad thing. Looking at him, she felt a pang of heartache. I know you are second to none, not even Thianenji. Her face flushed with pride. A talent like him deserved to be the center of everyone's attention. Seeing his stubborn streak, Engu Lang cheered. Damn, Lakir making Du Dao question his very existence. Are you stupid? He had a wild idea. Back home, Truecoat and I will hang a banner, naming him the Academy's most enduring man. Many freshmen began to gossip among themselves, while on the high platform, the 5 purple vibrance mentors stood in silence. Their eyes locked on to Lilac. They wanted to see how long he could last. Hytheon watched, silently. Even Kim too watched with a furrowed brow. Another 10 minutes passed, and Lilac's resonant glow showed no signs of stopping. Finally, after yet another 10 minutes, those 2 glows began to dim at last. By then, he had held on for 40 minutes. Right as it ended, everyone cheered like they just won a war. 40 minutes, twice as long as Than. This was a new record for Saint Xuan Xing Academy, leaving the second-place finisher far behind in the dust. I wonder if this record will ever be broken in the future. Hytheon pondered the possibilities. It seemed Lilac's dual resonance was indeed something special. Kim too gritted his teeth in annoyance, while Deanie asked, "Is this really the power of dual resonance? But can dual resonance be this strong?" Meanwhile, Lilac stretched, feeling a wave of pure satisfaction and comfort. He felt his body changing, as if he had been forged by the rarest heavenly treasures. Vibrant marks appeared on both resonant seeds. This was the seed bud stage. He had stepped right into it. Though the glow ended, students stayed to stabilize their cultivation. 3 hours slipped by without anyone noticing. Suddenly, a group of people in the distance caught his attention. Lilac squinted and saw a man and woman. He recognized them as Than and Haku. Lilac felt a surge of anger. That little snake actually dared to harass my friend so openly. Haku kept pestering her. Than was annoyed. This guy used every excuse to stage these chance encounters. She sighed inwardly. How incredibly boring. Haku tried to coax her with sweet, sugary words. Than, let's just say we started on the wrong foot. I was too rough before, and I've lost sleep over it. Hearing this, she stood up and gave him a cold, flat refusal. Apologies aren't necessary. We were rivals in a competition, so you did nothing wrong. Stop using that as an excuse to follow me. He blocked her path, begging helplessly. Why be so difficult? Haku raised his voice, swearing his innocence. I have no ulterior motives. I just want to know you. Suddenly, blue arrows lunged at him. Sensing them, he turned and used his treasure to deflect the strike. Lilac stepped forward, his judgment harsh. You know, fellow student, your character is seriously lacking. He stood in front of Than, mocking the guy's pursuit. If being thick-skinned was all it took, nobody would be single anymore. Than cheered, Lilac. He glared at him with doubt. So, you're the famous Lilac. Lilac smirked with confidence. You might think I'm showing off, but you won't find another freshman as handsome as me. Annoyed, Haku warned him. Lilac, don't go looking for trouble for no reason. We have no grudge between us, so why start a fight with me like this? Lilac stood tall. I prefer kindness, but since you hurt her during the match, we have a grudge now. Protected by Li Luo, King blushed and smiled. The onlookers crowded around, whispering about whether a fight was finally about to break out. If these 2 elite students actually throw down, it's going to be quite a show. He demanded firmly. I really hope you'll stop pestering my friend. Acting like this only makes people feel disgusted by your presence. Jew wouldn't listen. Stubborn as ever. I have my own way of doing things. Li Luo, are you trying to tell me how to act? Li Luo calmly mocked him, calling him a poisonous bird that doesn't understand human speech. Hearing that, he gritted his teeth in fury. Jew channeled power into his fan and demanded, What did you just call me? Bored, he sighed. I tried being nice, and you ignored me. Why do you insist on being insulted before you listen? Are you really that pathetic? Both charged at once, creating an explosion of force. Seeing the display, Hiju sneered. So you've reached the flower seed stage. Did you really think you were the only one who made progress? He slammed his foot down, releasing a massive wave of energy that made the crowd gasp. Hiju actually broke through to the second stage of the General Master tier. The pattern birth level. Incredible. He really is the number 2 ranked student. He smirked, acting like he had seen it all. Let me teach you one thing about fighting a poison master. He glanced at Li Luo's hand, now stained with his energy. Hiju warned him never to make physical contact so easily. Seeing the weak toxin, Li Luo gave a playful, mocking reply. With a flick of his wrist, he dispersed the poison and teased him. This stuff wouldn't even kill a chicken. Furious, Hiju barked back. Shut your mouth. Right then, another figure stepped forward confidently. Hiju, I told you, I will be the one to handle Li Luo. Sensing the shift, King asked warily, What's this? You're planning to use numbers to win this fight. As she gathered her energy, vines suddenly burst from the ground, wrapping around her legs. King looked on in total confusion. The person behind the spell was a girl with an elegant voice. It was the purple badge student, Shi Lu. Beijuan braced himself and challenged him loudly. Li Luo, I was careless during the housemaster exam. Let's settle this once and for all. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning streaked through the air, hitting Beijuan and forcing him back. The attacker was Shen Fu. Meanwhile, someone stepped in to save King. The vines gripping her legs began to wither away. King turned her head and saw a familiar face. She gasped, in surprise. It was Bai Mengmeng. The air suddenly turned freezing cold. Everything went dead silent, except for the whistling of the wind. Seeing the standoff, the crowd began to whisper excitedly. Are 2 purple badge teams really about to clash right here? This is going to be epic. Yu Lang shouted an insult right to his face. Hiju, you're shameless. You're ugly, and you just won't stop pestering people. The other students chimed in, asking who said that and calling the person a genius. Furious at the insults, Hiju dared his detractor to show their face. Does anyone actually have the guts to step forward? Just then, a spear slammed violently into the ground. Dodo frowned in anger, demanding to know who dared bully her sister. Surprised by the interference, he barked. What do you mean? Your sister? What does any of this have to do with you? Dodo didn't care, firmly stating that anyone who touches her sister makes it her business. Suddenly, he felt an overwhelming pressure weighing down on him. The sheer intensity of the aura was far too strong. Hiju turned, teeth clenched. Who is it? He looked up in shock at the silhouette. Ju Lu. The warrior just glared down coldly. Panicked and uneasy, Hiju wondered why even Ju Lu had appeared. Li Luo took the chance to brag about his own personal charm. Can you see it now? This is what personal charisma looks like. If you study at the academy and everyone ends up hating you, doesn't that prove you're just a failure? Feeling cornered, Hiju gritted his teeth and snapped back. Li Luo, stop running your mouth. I just hope we don't cross paths during the ranking matches at the end of the month. I won't give up on King. Hiju then glanced around at the crowd and added one final warning. Everyone to hear. Also, someone with an engagement like yours shouldn't be getting involved with other girls. If you offend the president and the Golden Dragon Bank, things won't end well for you. In the end, the heated confrontation fizzled out without a clear winner. leaving the onlookers feeling a bit disappointed by the lack of action. It's a shame we couldn't witness a real battle between the purple badge students this early on. Watching Zhu walk away, Li Luo praised him, saying their captain seemed very protective of his teammates. Hearing that, King frowned and replied, "Then you're definitely underestimating him. Yesterday, Teacher Cao Sheng tried to set up a meeting between him and Duan Yu. He actually jumped out the window to escape, leaving her practically crying from frustration." Li Luo felt awkward and expressed his genuine concern. Is Zhu really so terrified of girls that he would go that far? "I'm honestly worried about the future of the mansion." King tilted her head and teased. The young lord looked quite cool today. He played along, saying that since everyone already knows it, there was no need to repeat it. She toyed with her hair and asked shyly, "So what does the young lord really think about those last words Zhu mentioned?" Hearing the question, the blunt Li Luo stood tall and gave a direct answer. "Guys like him always have internal issues, and his thoughts are never normal. But our bond can survive any test." A second later, he asked hesitantly, making Than Ni annoyed. "Her mother wouldn't actually hit me, would she? That would be too petty for the leader of the Golden Dragon Bank. Don't you dare badmouth my mother." He crossed his arms and sighed, looking a bit guilty. "If our friendship ruins your reputation, I will be more careful from now on." She immediately snapped back, denying it. Li Luo wiped a fake tear, acting heartbroken. But her question had already revealed the doubt in her heart. "I guess I overestimated our bond." Panicking, she tried to explain that she didn't mean it that way. Finally, Than Ni had to give in. "Fine, I was wrong. I should not have even asked." Seeing her admit she was wrong, Li Luo was generous. "Fine, I will not hold this against you. Dinner is on you tonight." He gave her a quick warning and then made a run for it. "If your mother actually tries to hit me, you had better be there to stop her." After he left, she sighed in frustration. Something felt wrong. That annoying Li Luo had played her once again. With his first official training session over, Li Luo finally began to find his rhythm at the academy. Inside the training room, Shituan gave the order. "Li Luo, hold out your hands and activate both resonance powers. I am going to guide you through merging these two types of resonance power. Feel it carefully." She forced the energies to blend. The scene before him left Li Luo completely stunned. She explained how to neutralize the rejection between the two different powers. When the two types merge, they trigger a unique effect that is impossible to stop on its own. The energy in the air grew bright. Sichuan went silent for a moment before issuing a challenge. "Now, I will stop guiding you. Try to maintain it yourself." Li Luo was shocked and jumped back. Before he could react, the energy blasted him back several meters. He realized this would be much harder than he thought. Training with dual resonance is incredibly difficult. The amount of control you need is just staggering. Do not get discouraged. If it were easy, you would be looking down on all the Duke-level experts. Li Luo asked cautiously. "Is there any treasure in this school that could speed up my cultivation process?" Sichuan looked at him. "How fast do you want to go?" He lowered his voice. "For example, could I reach the Duke level in 5 years?" Sichuan laughed. Even behind her mask, her mockery was clear. "When we finish here, just go home, take a bath, and sleep. In your dreams, you can be a king, or even higher. 5 years is just a fantasy." Li Luo was speechless at her reaction. "Master, are you joking with me?" She turned serious again. 5 years to be a duke. "You think dual resonance makes you a legend?" he asked seriously. "Then how long do you think it will take for someone with my potential?" She did some quick math. "With your talent, it might take you about 10 years. Duke level. If it takes that long, you can just bury me next year. Duke level, My ass. She teased him, but she knew the truth. Luo Landhouse was currently surrounded by enemies. With enemies closing in from all sides and his parents trapped in the Duke battlefield, his desire to grow stronger as fast as possible made sense. Seeing his silence, she continued. There are actually several ways to speed up your training. The guidance technique you are using now is not exactly a Duke-level skill, is it? Guidance techniques? Tell me more. Most Duke-level techniques require a grade 7 resonance. Since I am stuck at grade 6, does the school have anything suitable? The Sage College has a Duke-level technique in its collection called the 12 Brocade. This method is perfect for those with grade 6 resonance. Besides switching to a high-level technique, there is another hidden way to significantly boost your cultivation speed. It can help you improve without causing any harm to your body. Li Luo was shocked by this and shouted out, "What is it?" Saint Xuan quickly answered, "Energy liquid." Mengmeng, who had been quiet, finally spoke the words aloud. That is such a plain name. Hearing her say that, Saint Xuan quickly responded with a follow-up. Do not look down on this. Energy liquid is the signature specialty of our Sacred Astral Academy. This is refined using the concentrated sap from the sacred force tree. Li Luo finally understood. He did not beat around the bush and ask how to get them. She answered that it was simple. Stage 12 costs 3,000 points. Li Luo gave her a fake smile and shamelessly asked, if those academy points could be bought on credit. Saint Xuan offered a very friendly and warm smile. You tell me. Realizing begging was useless, Li Luo turned and complained that her answer was essentially like saying nothing at all. She replied softly, at least it gives you a goal. Besides, isn't there a ranking competition at the end of the month? If you can manage to get a good result, you will naturally earn a massive amount of reward points. The month-end exam is different from what you know. It uses a squad system, which means that you must work together. The three of you need to coordinate. Only then can you maximize the collective power and strength of your entire team. Li Luo listened to her talk about the exam, but he focused his attention on only one single important thing. He immediately asked how many points they could earn from the ranking competition. Saint Xuan saw his greed and explained the reward rules. Defeat a violet team, and every member of your squad will receive 500 reward points. Beating a gold team nets you 100, while a silver team only gets you 20 reward points. Li Luo asked why the ranking battle used a squad format. Saint Xuan regained her serious expression and spoke to him very calmly. Future tests will use this system. You need to get used to your teammates now as this process is mandatory. More importantly, when facing the others in the future. A squad's coordination is much more reliable and safer than fighting as an individual. Li Luo considered her words very carefully. The others, we haven't met them yet, but it is inevitable. Preparing early for that day is absolutely essential for us. Outside, the air was calm and peaceful as a gentle breeze tossed fallen leaves through the quiet summer sky. Saint Xuan spoke. I do not have high expectations for this monthly battle, but you should still try. If you want to earn more points, you need to pay more attention. Li Luo remained lost in his own thoughts. I need to increase my strength, but my teammates are too soft. I must find a way to fix this. He suddenly shouted with conviction. We are your students. If our results are poor, you will lose face. Don't worry. Anyone who doesn't work hard for this exam is clearly disrespecting you. Mengmeng and Shen Fu had been quiet, but were suddenly stunned to be dragged into his dramatic little speech like that. Both looked miserable and dark, clearly having many things they wanted to discuss with Li Luo in private later. He ignored them and pretended to be moved, acting like the perfect, loyal student who truly appreciated his teacher's hard work and effort. Shi Chuan understood his game, but she figured that motivating Mengmeng and Xin Fu through his nonsense was actually a pretty good idea. After a brief silence, she finally spoke up about their schedule for the next few weeks. To increase your squad's chemistry, I am going to start conducting specialized combat training for the three of you right now. You will train for 3 hours every day. She casts a spell. An energy beast appeared and growled fiercely at them. She said to defeat it before dinner, or they would all go hungry. 3 days later, a loud and piercing roar echoed through the otherwise silent and empty sky. The energy beast from before was still full of momentum. Remaining in a fighting stance and ready to attack, Li Luo panted heavily, looking very stressed. Mengmeng stood right beside him, looking just as exhausted and tired. Shen Fu gasped for breath, yet they all charged forward with determination. Letting out a loud and collective shout, the beast lunged forward with incredible speed, attacking so quickly that the three of them could not even react or dodge. The three of them were knocked backward, landing hard. Li Luo looked annoyed while Mengmeng felt completely discouraged by the loss. She could not stop her tears from falling. This tiger is just way too strong for us. It is likely at the second stage of the general realm, stronger than me, and possessing a very clever spirit. Its attacks are cunning. Shi Chuan remained nearby, calmly sipping tea while watching her students struggle through their training. Li Luo looked at her and spoke with a very serious tone. Our teacher is just holding back. If she actually wanted us dead, we would have perished many times over by now. I calculated the odds, realizing just how terrifyingly powerful a marquis stage expert truly was. Master Chi-Chan stopped her act and looked at us. Over already? You haven't even won yet. Back to the stale bread. She tossed 3 hard rolls our way without a second thought. I chewed the dry crust, thinking we had eaten this for 3 days straight. Man whispered to me, Captain, once the instructor leaves, let me cook something real for everyone. I gave her a serious look. Man, the path to power is built step by step. This is a test of our resolve. Xin Fu nodded, in silent agreement, while Man blushed, feeling embarrassed for suggesting a shortcut. You're right, Captain. It seems my discipline just isn't where it needs to be yet. I tried to comfort her, but 3 days of hard bread was enough. We had to end this fox once and for all. After facing it for 3 days, I realized its slowing aura activates within 5 feet of its body. It is a heavy water field. Xin Fu walked over to us. I managed to hit it once, but I could not pierce it. Its body is covered in a massive layer of high-level water defense. Man chimed in. Captain, I noticed it keeps protecting a specific spot on its left chest. Is that its weakness? I nodded. I saw it too. Weak point or not, we have to try. The 3 of us gathered to talk. We finalized our strategy. One more time. If this works, I am buying everyone a massive steak dinner tonight. Man's eyes lit up. I can help cook the meal. It will be great. I just looked at her. Seriously, do not kill our momentum now. Man. We dropped into combat stances and charged forward. Now, let's go. The beast roared, raising its claws for the clash. Xin Fu closed the distance fast. He triggered a water mirror, a shield shimmering to block the beast's razor-sharp claws. Before it could recover, he followed up with shadow blades, unleashing a flurry of dark energy. The strikes tore through the beast's outer aura and bit deep into its hide. Panicking, the creature lashed out wildly, but its desperate swipes missed every single target. While it was distracted, I drew my bow and fired. Man. Now. She heard me, and immediately cast her buffing spell, wrapping my arrow in a surge of power. The scales on its left chest were finally exposed. Seeing this, we all cheered in excitement. "It's a hit," Chi-Chan watched with a mysterious smirk. The arrow struck, but it did not penetrate. Mengmeng's energy layer was cracking under the pressure. It was not going to hold much longer. I saw the cracks forming, but I did not feel a hint of fear. I smiled confidently. Everything was going according to plan. We were ready for this. The outer layer shattered, revealing a hidden black glow around the arrow tip. Chi-Chan looked intrigued. Light exploded everywhere. A bolt of dark energy shot out, piercing the fox's chest. It screamed before dissolving into nothing. Mengmeng cheered. "We did it." I exhaled. Finally, the nightmare was over. Even the stoic Shen Fu could not hide the grin spreading across his face. Chi-Chan approached us. "It took 3 whole days just to learn teamwork. I am training pigs, but at least you are not idiots." She looked directly at me. "As the team captain, you must master your teammates' strengths. That is how you achieve perfect tactical synergy in battle. Li Luo, your water and wood elements make your attacks versatile and surprisingly lethal. Xin Fu has the shadow resonance, allowing him to strike from the darkness when least expected. Mengmeng's butterfly spirit provides a variety of buffs, while also being able to trigger a dream state. This sends enemies into a deep sleep, providing a powerful form of control. Together, you work as a unit. Li Luo is the primary damage dealer. Xin Fu provides the ambush, while Mengmeng monitors the battlefield and offers support. For your next training phase, you all just need to keep practicing like this. As for the tournament, your results will depend entirely on how well you work together as a team. That is all for today. Go and get some rest now." At the point exchange, the old clerk watched her approach and asked calmly, "What are you looking for today, Student Zhang?" King answered quickly, "The 12 Section Brocade." "Behind her?" Ling Qing asked in confusion. "Why on earth are you buying that?" Ignoring the curious look, the clerk maintained his calm composure and replied, "One moment. Student, let me go see if I can find that for you." King turned back to her friend and mentioned Li Luo. "He is currently a level 6, and this 12 Section Brocade is a Duke Tier energy guide. That does not require level 7 status." Ling Qing understood instantly. "No wonder you took that mission and disappeared for days. So, you were just grinding for points this whole time." King did not hide the truth. Li Luo just started at the academy and cannot even take missions yet. Waiting for him to earn 3,000 points would just be a massive waste of time. Ling Qing replied with a hint of sarcasm in her voice. "You really are way too good to him." King just smiled brightly at the comment. "Aren't I good to you too?" Ling Qing shot back immediately. "It is not even close." The old clerk returned right then, glancing down at a ledger as he spoke up. "Student Zhang, it looks like the 12 Section Brocade was already taken. Let me check the records and see who borrowed it." He looked surprised. It turns out Jin Xiao took it, claiming he wanted to study the technique. But the log is empty. He said if anyone else wants it, they should go negotiate with him directly. King's face darkened at that name, her eyes flashing with pure annoyance. Seeing her storm off, Ling Qing called out, "Wait, where are you going? You aren't actually going to see Jin Xiao, are you?" King didn't look back. She just kept walking and replied, "See him? Why would I? I'm going to see Vice Principal Shen." Inside the Golden Hall of the Academy, a loud voice suddenly boomed from one of the rooms. "Shen, that jerk Jin Xiao is really crossing the line this time around. If you won't deal with him, let me do it. I'll crush him with my own hands." The speaker was King's mentor, the Violet Glow instructor, Huo Zhu. Shen felt the tension from Huo Zu's fierce determination and tried to calm her down as she spoke. Don't be so angry. Let's wait for Jin Xiao to arrive so we can confront him. King bowed respectfully to Shen, thanking her for the help. Suddenly, the door swung open and a man stepped inside, moving with a calm and effortless grace towards the center of the room. Jin Xiao spoke up calmly. Vice Principal. Shen didn't waste any time with small talk once he arrived. You probably already know the reason and the situation you were in. King has accused you of moral corruption and intentionally blocking a student's progress. Despite the weight of those heavy charges, Jin Xiao didn't seem bothered at all. He just replied calmly, that is quite a serious accusation. But since when can a common student here directly accuse a violet glow instructor? Huo Zu couldn't stand his smug attitude anymore and shouted, Jin, you are still as arrogant and annoying as you have always been. King is now an official reserve member of the Academy's 7-star pillars. He seemed a bit surprised to hear that, but he quickly regained his usual calm composure. Student King truly is gifted. Looking across the whole region, few could challenge for a 7-star pillar spot. But I still find her reason for accusing me to be completely baffling. Hearing his words, King didn't hesitate to speak up immediately. Every single action you took against Li Luo during the exam was clearly hostile. And now taking the 12 Section Brocade makes it undeniable that you are playing dirty games. With his entire future and cultivation path, he lowered his voice and explained that his actions during the exam were only meant to push Li Luo's hidden potential. Then, he suddenly let out a very mysterious laugh. As for the 12 Section Brocade, that was just a coincidence. Besides, I left a specific message behind. If any student needed it, they could have just come to discuss it with me. Huo Zu was officially furious. She shouted, Jin Xiao, do you really think we are blind to your schemes? Isn't this just because King cut ties with you back then, and now you are holding a petty, hateful grudge? The air in the room seemed to freeze. Everything went silent as no one spoke. Jin Xiao lost his polite mask. His brow furrowed deeply, and he could no longer hide the murderous intent pouring from his cold eyes. After a long silence, Shen finally spoke to Instructor Jin Xiao. The 12 Section Brocade does not have much research value for you. I suggest you give it up for now, since it won't cost you much time anyway. He answered her quickly, but a look of annoyance still lingered on his face. The first freshman tournament is coming up soon, and I plan to use this as an extra prize for the winner. I am even paying for this out of my own pocket. Shen listened and fell silent, realizing that these simple words would not solve the problem. Kim Tu, don't push it, Huo growled, her anger boiling over. Watching her, Tu Tam felt a wave of anxiety hit her. It looked like the mentor was about to snap. Was Huo Tu really going to lose it? Seeing the tension, Than Nga stepped in to de-escalate. If it's come to this, let's just leave things as they are. Thank you, Vice Dean. Let's go. The two left, leaving Kim Tu and Tu Tam alone in the now silent room. Tu Tam didn't hold back, turning her gaze toward Kim Tu. At Astral Academy, we don't care much for those worldly views. If you truly have feelings for Than Nga, then pursue her openly and honestly. Like a real man should. These backhanded tricks of yours are frankly beneath you. Kim Tu just stood there, refusing to utter a single word in response. After a long pause, he let out a dry laugh. If the Vice Dean is done, then I'll take my leave. He hurried out, leaving Tam alone. She watched him walk away, a deep, worried frown creasing her forehead as she thought. A single doubt haunted her mind. Kim Tu, why are you so obsessed with her? What are you actually planning? Back at the dorms, bathed in sunlight, Li Luo stared into the mirror and sighed to himself at his own reflection. Good looks aren't everything. Wood and earth resonance hit level 5. But his water and light power were miles from 7. He had used up all the resonance fluids. It had been 2 full days since he last refined any new materials. Just a little longer, he muttered, stepping out of the room with a determined stride. Down on the second basement level lab, he reached the bottom of the stairs and spotted something very strange. He stayed quiet, watching closely. Was Haithian teaching resonance arts to Then, he noticed the glowing potion tube in her hand. Seeing her intense focus, Li Luo was stunned. This experiment looked like something out of a scientist's nightmare. The whiteboard was covered in dense data. Is that really He crept over to Haithian and whispered, I never expected to see this side of her. She's a different person. Without looking back, Haithian replied, to be precise, she has entered what we call the dream state. A dream state? Li Luo asked, confused. Haithian saw his puzzled look and explained, this is what makes her special. Her water butterfly resonance has a mysterious power she uses on her own energy pathways, though even she doesn't fully understand how. But in this dream state, her research and analytical abilities are absolutely terrifying. Li Luo was baffled. Researching while sleepwalking. Is that even possible? Haithian continued in her usual calm, steady tone. Over these years, she's created over 10 resonance formulas. Even if most are low-grade, the best ones are for star quality. That's pure genius. Li Luo's jaw dropped. A 4-star formula. His own Sun Creek lab didn't have a single recipe of that high caliber. If he sold these formulas on the market, he could easily make tens of millions in gold coins right now. Her value alone was worth more than the entire lab. If he could just convince her to join him permanently, her talent for invention combined with his secret resonance methods, they wouldn't just succeed, they would reach the top. With Haithian's help, Sun Creek would rocket into the top 10 of the entire Great Summer regions. Resonance Labs. Li Luo was buzzing with excitement now, unable to hide it. He waved his hands around, lost in his ambition. Haithian looked at him with pity. Whatever you're plotting, you better tone it down before I throw you out of here. He barely heard her, giving a distracted nod. Yeah, sure, he replied, his mind still racing with possibilities. She sighed heavily. Don't get any ideas. Her sister and the Bai family are powerful players. They won't let you scheme. He gave a cheeky grin. You're selling me short. I'm just a captain looking out for my team's best interests, obviously. Seeing she couldn't talk sense into him, Haithian changed the subject. The upcoming monthly competition has a very special prize this time. Do you have any idea what it is? He turned serious. What is it? Haithian answered shortly. The 12 Section Silk. Li Luo started shaking with emotion, his eyes welling up. I can't believe you did this for me. I'm truly touched. Haithian's voice went cold. This wasn't my idea. Kim Chu was the one who actually suggested the prize. He even paid for the reward points with his own money, making it a special incentive for the winners. The name hit Li Luo like a ton of bricks. His tone shifted immediately to one of pure annoyance. Kim Tu, did that guy finally lose his mind or something? He hasn't lost his mind, Haithian said gravely. But you're right to be suspicious. He's trying to delay your progress. I heard Than Nga went to the point exchange to get that technique for you yesterday. But she was one step too late. Kim Zhao snatched the 12 Section Brocade right before her eyes, leaving word that any student who needs it can find him. His face darkened with annoyance. That bastard Kim Zhao clearly planned this to force Than Nga into coming to him, so he could use it as leverage. Haithian added. Than Nga went to Vice Principal to Tam to report Kim Zhao. but he claimed the whole thing was just a reward. Basically, he achieved his goal, which was to delay you from getting your hands on this new technique. Li Luo felt even worse, his eyes flashing with a sudden, intense killing intent. He took a deep breath and exhaled slowly, trying to regain his usual calm. He clenched his fist with determination. Starting today, I will begin making incense right now, and then wait for the day instructor Kim Zhao dies, so I can personally plant a massive incense stick at his grave. Seeing his resolve, Hai Thaiyan spoke seriously. Treating a powerful Marquise-rank fighter as your sworn enemy. You really have incredible guts for a son born to Li Taixuan and Zan Talon. Li Luo instantly dropped his tough act and gave a strained laugh. I was just talking big. Honestly, I still need to cling to my master for protection. Hai Thaiyan placed a hand on his shoulder to reassure him, but her voice was biting. Do not worry, because I also want to plant incense at Kim Zhao's grave. Her attitude made him break into a cold sweat. Master, it really seems like my choice back during the stone line competition was an incredibly wise move on my part. Hai Thaiyan turned her attention back to observing Mengmeng while she continued speaking to him. However, before you have enough strength, I suggest you keep this killing intent of yours hidden away. Also, I think if you get the chance, you should try for it. If you actually succeed, you will not just save points, but Kim Zhao will look like a fool. Li Luo understood exactly what she meant, and stammered out his response. I will try my best. He felt helpless, and could only whisper to himself. With these two burdens dragging me down, I wonder if I even have a chance at this. He stopped speaking, and the room suddenly fell back into a heavy silence. Hai Thaiyan noticed a shift in Mengmeng and spoke up once again. She is about to wake from her dream state. Mengmeng had been keeping her eyes tightly shut until now, completely lost in her own private world. As they slowly began to open, they appeared cloudy, like a raw pink sapphire freshly mined from deep within ancient stone. Mengmeng was finally fully awake now, and she turned to look at Li Luo with surprise. He was shocked by her current appearance, and questions began pouring out. Can you really do that? Is this one person playing two different roles? Are you playing cosplay? This is actually kind of exciting. Hai Thaiyan was no longer standing beside him, her voice trailing back as she left. If you need to practice your resonance arts, just go in yourself. You two should exchange some tips on resonance refining while you are at it. When Li Luo heard that, he was already celebrating and setting off fireworks in his head, even though she knew exactly what he was thinking. She still gave him a chance to work with Mengmeng. How could I not love a master like this? Despite his excitement, his words remained very measured. Mengmeng, researching for this long must have been quite exhausting for you, right? Hai Thaiyan had already left, leaving the two of them alone in the room. Li Luo gallantly brought a glass of water to Mengmeng and asked with concern, Would you like to drink some warm water? Mengmeng noticed that Li Luo was acting a bit unusual, making her feel slightly hesitant. She spoke in a low voice, Captain, that smile of yours is way too cheesy. Li Luo complained with a sudden burst of faked anger. Mengmeng, you are breaking my heart. I was just showing some concern, so why are you launching personal attacks against me? Mengmeng felt embarrassed and bowed her head to apologize sincerely. Sorry, Captain, I did not mean to attack you. I just did not react in time, and the truth slipped out. When Li Luo heard that, there was only one single thought running through his mind. So that is what you really think of me. However, out loud, he spoke with a low voice, emphasizing every single word. Drink it all up. Mengmeng obediently took the glass while he watched her, silently calculating his next move. Being gentle and friendly with little Mengmeng was completely useless. It was actually much simpler to just give her a direct, forceful demand instead. Li Luo cleared his throat and turned serious. He felt a bit awkward looking at her directly and said, I heard from Instructor Hai Thion. Man, you have researched quite a few formulas for spirit water over the past few years, haven't you? She did not realize the hidden motive behind his question and simply gave a modest reply. It is not really a big deal. The formulas I researched are all below 4th rank spirit water. Li Luo quickly replied, That is still very impressive. I mean, how old are you anyway? You still have plenty of room to grow and improve in the future, and I am sure you will create high-rank formulas one day. Mengmeng smiled so hard her eyes nearly closed. Thank you, Captain. He avoided her gaze and asked awkwardly, So what kind of methods have you actually discovered? Mengmeng did not hesitate at all, and told him the truth. Most of those formulas have already been sold off to other spirit water shops and businesses. The Bai family has no interest in developing those liquid radiance cultivation methods. Captain, are you actually interested in these techniques yourself? Li Luo brushed her off with a vague answer, but inside, his mind was already racing with possibilities. It made sense. Even if Mengmeng didn't grasp the value of those secrets, her powerful family certainly did. He originally wanted to use Mengmeng as a shortcut to get better formulas for his struggling Sun Creek studio. But exploiting their friendship just to steal her family's proprietary liquid formulas felt a little too much like bullying. Still, Sun Creek couldn't survive without high-grade recipes, and right now, they had absolutely nothing of real value to offer. Li Luo's initial excitement cooled down as reality set in. He sighed and went back to his basic liquid training routines. He tried again and failed. Another experiment gone to waste? Maybe the stress of the 12 silks and these formula issues left him distracted. Today just wasn't his day for practicing. Li Luo turned to Mengmeng and said, I'm done for now. I'm heading out early today. She spoke up shyly, Captain, let me stay and help you clean up the refining station. He didn't notice her hidden feelings and just casually agreed. Thanks, I appreciate the help. As he walked away, he thought about how sweet and helpful she was. Truly kind, innocent soul. If Yu Lang found out, his eyes would probably turn red with pure jealousy. With his permission, Mengmeng quickly began tidying up the messy workspace around her. Suddenly, a strange, indescribable fragrance drifted from the vial Li Luo had just abandoned. It reached her nose, and she immediately froze, her attention locked on the bottle. Mengmeng found the small vial and picked it up, staring at the liquid inside. Driven by a reckless impulse, she brought the bottle to her lips and tilted her head back to drink. Suddenly, something went wrong. Her wide eyes filled with total shock. The vial shattered on the floor. The bright liquid had turned a deep, dark color. Li Luo heard the crash and whipped his head around, stunned by the sudden noise behind him. Mengmeng had already swallowed a mouthful. A few droplets of the dark liquid still stained her lips. Li Luo panicked. Was she crazy? Who drinks a failed experiment without knowing what kind of toxins are inside? What was she thinking? Despite his internal frustration, he stepped closer and tried to keep his voice calm and gentle. Are you okay? Here, let me help. Mengmeng flinched and pulled away from him. She started grabbing the broken glass shards with her bare hands. Li Luo rushed forward to stop her. He grabbed her wrists to keep her still and shouted, What are you doing? Are you insane? Even with gloves, she was bound to get hurt by the sharp, broken glass. Mengmeng had been silent, but suddenly she whispered in a low, shaky voice. Bitter. She looked up at him, repeating the word over and over. Bitter. You can actually taste that? He asked. Bitter. I haven't tasted this in years, but I still remember exactly what it's like. Li Luo was floored. He thought to himself, wait, she lost her sense of taste long ago. How is this possible? Could the random impurities in that failed batch have actually triggered her dormant taste buds? Sensing a glimmer of hope, he said, "Wait here." He quickly grabbed an apple and handed it to her. She took a massive bite, but her expression immediately slumped. There was still no flavor at all. Seeing her reaction, Li Luo realized nothing had changed. "I guess it didn't cure you." That failed potion was useless. But Mengmeng shouted back, "No, it's not useless. Something in that mixture actually worked. It definitely stimulated my senses. If we can isolate that ingredient, there might actually be a chance to finally cure me." She stepped closer, begging him, "Captain, please. I'm begging you to help me." Li Luo felt cornered and hesitated. I don't know." Before he could finish, the door swung open. Xin Fu stood there, frozen. He wasn't sure if he had just walked into something private or not. He stood there like a statue. Li Luo and Mengmeng were just as shocked. Everything happened way too fast. The air in the room felt like ice. No one moved, and no one dared to speak. Xin Fu was the first to regain his composure. He stammered out a quick, "I am so sorry. I just heard a loud noise and came to check. I didn't see anything. Please, just carry on." He bolted out of the room like a lightning bolt, shouting back over his shoulder for them to continue. He stood outside, dazed. "Man, they're gonna kill me. Since when did the captain move this fast? Does Jiang King know about this? Or did she actually give him her blessing for this? Impressive. Truly a role model for us all." Silence swallowed the room once again, leaving just the two of them alone in the quiet. Li Luo broke the silence first, wondering if that guy had completely misread the situation. Mengmeng ignored the awkwardness and stayed focused on the topic. "Captain, I am begging you." Li Luo saw her resolve and sighed. "It's not that I won't help. I just don't know how I made that batch. How could I possibly cure you?" Mengmeng stayed firm. Even if it was just a fluke, there was clearly a sign that this could actually work. "Captain, if you help me fix my loss of taste, I'll literally sell myself to you for the next 4 years." Li Luo was stunned. He instinctively pulled back into a defensive stance. Completely caught off guard, she realized how heavy her words sounded and blushed instantly. "No, wait. That is not what I meant. I meant I would give you every bit of spirit, water, resonance research I produce over the next 4 years." Seeing her calm down, Li Luo spoke up. "You silly girl. Do you think I don't know exactly how valuable you are?" Mengmeng cut him off. "I know. But I just want to remember what sweet, sour, and bitter actually taste like. Captain, you've never lost your taste. You don't understand that constant lingering bitterness in your mouth that is impossible to swallow. I am not resigned to this. It's driving me crazy." Li Luo felt conflicted. He realized she was fully aware of the reality of her situation. But she was right. Unless you have lived through that kind of loss, you could never truly understand her desperation. His expression turned serious. "Mengmeng, I do need high-grade formulas. But you don't have to sell your life to me. If I actually manage to restore your sense of taste, I only ask for the first right to buy your formulas. Luo Lan House can't pay all at once, so I'll offer a percentage of the profits as compensation. How does that sound?" Mengmeng beamed at the offer and didn't hesitate to answer. "Are you serious? You really mean it? Captain, are you truly willing to help me?" Li Luo watched her, feeling a bit helpless. It seemed she hadn't even processed the actual conditions of his offer. Mengmeng let out a bright, radiant smile that could rival a spring morning. She was clearly overjoyed. "Fine. I'll do whatever you say, Captain." Li Luo realized there was no arguing with her and quickly changed the subject. "In that case, let's analyze this failed batch together. We need to identify every single ingredient and how they were meant to transform during the process. The two of them huddled together and began the tedious work. Before they knew it, several hours had already slipped away. Despite their efforts, they only managed to identify a few of the ingredients. They still couldn't figure out why it triggered a sense of taste. Li Luo sighed. Let's call it a day for now. We can resume this later. Drained of energy, Mengmeng nodded in agreement.
Yep.
Thanks for all the hard work today, Captain. Suddenly, the door creaked open once again. But this time, it wasn't Tan Fu running away in a total panic. Instead, Sichuan peeked inside, looking annoyed and sarcastic. Planning on spending the night in here, are we? She gave a sly smirk, her voice full of innuendo. The door was locked pretty tight. What exactly were you two up to? Mengmeng's face instantly turned bright red. Sichuan had successfully turned her into a bright red tomato. Flustered, Mengmeng bolted for the door, stammering about leaving immediately. Li Luo tried to explain. Locked door was actually locked. That must have been Tan Fu's doing. Master, I swear we're innocent. Sichuan, however, wasn't about to let him off that. Her next words cut even deeper. Li Luo, are you actually using your looks to lure her in? I really did underestimate you, didn't I? Li Luo couldn't take any more and shouted. I'm completely innocent. The next morning arrived with a soft, quiet light. Sunlight filtered through the falling leaves as Li Luo stood behind Tan Fu, watching him paint while cursing him silently. That guy looks quiet, but he's a total menace for locking that door. Then he saw the canvas. Tan Fu was painting the two of them from last night, standing close together in an intimate, private conversation. Li Luo was speechless. He couldn't even think straight. Tan Fu noticed him and was the first to speak. So, Captain, what do you think of my latest masterpiece? I got the inspiration from seeing you and Mengmeng in the refinery yesterday. I've decided to call it Young Sprout. Li Luo's anger boiled over, but he kept his voice low and cold. Are you quite finished with this little game of yours? Locking the door on us yesterday was bad enough. Now you're actually turning the whole embarrassing scene into a painting. And your art skills are terrible. Just a few messy lines for people. You really expect me to believe this is supposed to be me and Mengmeng? Li Luo stepped closer and placed a heavy hand on Tan Fu's shoulder, using a mockingly sweet tone. My dear classmate, Tan Fu. I think we really need to go a few rounds during our training session later today. Tan Fu sensed danger immediately. If the captain wants to spar, who am I to say no? Just know that when I get hit, I tend to start blabbering nonsense. I was afraid he would run off to Dao Dao and tell her about us spending the night in the refinery room. Lilac could not take Tan Fu's constant yapping anymore and cursed him in his head. Luckily, his brain caught up with his mouth, and he kept things civil. You usually act like a quiet nobody, but you have actually got quite a fierce side to you. Do you not? Maybe I should let Man handle all three of your daily meals. Seeing Lilac's sinister smirk, Tan Fu started panicking and screamed out loud. That is pure evil. Tan Fu immediately dropped to his knees with his hands raised, signaling his total surrender. Fine, Captain, you win. I will delete the picture once we are back. Lilac's mood brightened up as he replied, No rush, let's just eat first. The two of them left the cramped room and headed toward a much larger area. Man was already waiting for them. Just as they arrived, she started bringing out some hot plates of breakfast. She chirped happily. You guys are here. Breakfast is served. Lilac noticed something felt different and wondered to himself. Why does this not look like something Man cooked? Man lowered her voice. I actually went to the academy cafeteria to buy this food. Since I cannot really tell how my own cooking tastes, I figured you guys probably did not enjoy it very much. Lilac immediately replied, Man, we actually love the breakfast you make. Tan Fu stood behind him, nodding his head in frantic agreement. Hearing that, Man's mood instantly lifted. She beamed and asked, Oh, really? If you like it that much, I have some ready for you right now. She spoke while setting down 2 plates of very tempting food. But the moment they saw the food, both their faces went pale. The same terrifying thought flashed through both their minds. This hellish nightmare was almost over, but one sentence dragged them right back in. Is this really happening? They wondered in silence. I knew life was tough, but I never expected it to be this brutal. Suddenly, a knock sounded and Ngulang walked right in. Coming in. Lilac turned around in surprise at the sound, asking, Who are you? Then Ni stepped forward with a smile. Hi, I am Than Ni. She took Man's hand and explained, We are all friends of Lilac, just here to visit. Man smiled back and said hello. Than Ni stared intensely at Man, thinking to herself, Man is way too pure and cute. Even I feel for her. To most guys, she is a total heartbreaker. A real soul stealer. Right then, Ngulang reached out with a grin. Good morning, I am Ngulang, Lilac's brother-in-arms and best friend. She looked up and stammered, I know you. My sister warned me not to talk to you, or I might catch your craziness. Hearing this, Ngulang cursed under his breath. Dao, how could you talk about me like that behind my back? A voice called out from inside the house. Everyone, come on in. He looked toward the source of the sound in surprise. What is this? He pointed at the food on the table. Don't tell me, Man cooked this breakfast for you guys. Lilac and Tan Fu both hung their heads. Yep, Ngulang grabbed a pastry and took a huge bite. I want to try her cooking too. After that one bite, his eyes rolled back into his head. Ngulang gave an embarrassed smile and explained, Oh, I almost forgot. I already ate breakfast before coming over here. Lilac quickly shot back. It is fine. A little extra food won't kill you. But if you spit that out, Dao will make you eat literal garbage. Hearing that, he could only close his eyes and let out a deep sigh. Ngulang chuckled. Too bad Than Ni went out of her way to buy you breakfast. Only for you to eat here instead. Than Ni pouted while holding her bag. It is fine. After all, Man put her heart and soul into this meal. If nobody wants the cafeteria food I brought, she said with a strained laugh, I will just toss it into the lake for the fish. Lilac stood there frozen, feeling the hidden meaning behind her words was not quite right. He laughed. It is okay. My stomach is huge. Give it to me. Than Ni's face lit up immediately. Tan Fu teased from the side, Captain, you sure are lucky. Someone is always bringing you breakfast every single day. Lilac grit his teeth and cursed silently. Kid, why are you making things harder for me? Are you trying to start a riot or something? Than Ni kept that bright smile as she asked, Who else gives Lilac breakfast? Tan Fu replied calmly, It was Senior Kwong. She snapped back coldly. Given their relationship, it is not surprising at all that Senior Kwong would bring him some food. Since you are so gifted, classmate Tan Fu, I bet plenty of girls bring breakfast to you as well, right? Tan Fu panicked, lost in thought. Damn, since I got here, aside from Man, she is only the second girl to ever talk to me. Is Than Ni striking back for her captain? My little hint did not cause any drama for him, but instead, I am the one getting burned here. He stared intensely at the smiling Than Ni, trying to analyze her. Normally, the captain should be the one with the headache. But here she is, helping him strike back at me. Li Luo offers a slight, knowing smile. Glancing at Tan Fu, he mocks her. This little troublemaker tried to play my captain. But now she is the one who finally got burned for it. He beamed with joy, flashing a bright grin, and giving an enthusiastic thumbs up of approval. Qing ignores him completely, turning away with a cold huff. Li Luo stands there stunned, wondering what he did wrong. He really just does not understand girls. Lang sits down on his chair and mentions that both instructors are planning to have their two teams face off in a training match today. Hearing this, Li Luo repeats the words with a confused look. Our two teams? He suggests fighting Lang, but the guy immediately refuses and tells him to get lost. Man laughs and says, Captain, you should probably just fight my older sister instead. Tan Fu adds softly, Tao is the captain and so are you. You wouldn't really abandon us members, right? Li Luo hesitates, but eventually agrees. He asks, so, just how strong is this Dao person right now? Lang explains she reached the second stage General Master level. Likely the first pattern of the life pattern section. He begins the briefing. The life pattern section means the general power seed in the palace has started to mature. Dense general power transforms into visible patterns that appear right on the surface of the seed. There are 5 levels, each forming a new pattern on the seed. That is why they call it the 5-pattern realm. Li Luo looks grim. Second stage already. I guess I will have to give it everything I have got then. After they finished eating breakfast, Li Luo leads Qing and Lang on a tour of the local circuit. He stops and tells them there is really nothing left to see here. Lang looks around and freezes. He spots a drawing of Li Luo and Man on the desk and gasps. What is this? Lang screams in a rage. Li Luo, you jerk, what exactly are you doing with Man? Qing's face darkens with suspicion. A man and woman alone in a room, keeping a drawing as a souvenir. Young master, are you trying to be romantic, or what? Li Luo frowns and explains loudly that Tan Fu just drew it randomly. There is nothing to see here. Lang shouts back, you might as well have written your names on it. Tan Fu chimes in, Captain, when one person doubts you, it might be their problem. But when everyone doubts you, maybe it is time to take a look in the mirror. Li Luo curses silently. Why are you everywhere? He feels his mood souring as he thinks about the situation. He glares at the troublemaker who caused this mess, feeling a sudden, nagging sense of doubt creep into his mind. He finishes the tour of the building. Qing heads back to her training, looking a bit sad as she leaves. Qing stares at the gloomy autumn lake. She reaches out and begins plucking leaves off a nearby tree branch. She silently lets the leaves flutter away. Suddenly, she spots Zhang Qingyi standing right in front of her and pauses. The two girls lock eyes. Qing is the first to speak. Calling out to her is Senior Jiang. Lincoln watches with a curious smile, letting out a soft hum of intrigue. She looks at Qing and thinks that this girl is truly impressive. She actually dared to initiate a greeting with Zhang Qingyi, despite her overwhelming and powerful aura. Lin Can remembers that Qingyi and Li Luo are still technically engaged to be married to each other. Ling Qing watches them both and thinks about how Qingyi and Li Luo are still engaged. Qing should be intimidated, but she responds directly. She pushes her glasses up and smiles, knowing this will be some great drama. Qingyi looks at her and asks, Qing, did you just come from visiting Li Luo? Qing closes her eyes and replies softly, I went to check on Li Luo and his new teammates. She smiles and says, You seem upset? Is it because Li Luo is acting like a total blockhead again? Honestly, It would be better if you just told him directly. Otherwise, he will never realize that you actually have deep romantic feelings for him. Xing hears this and stands there completely stunned. Ling Can is equally shocked. She cannot believe she just went straight for the kill like that. She notes Xing's calm expression. Not bad. She is not intimidated. This girl can actually hold her own against Xing. She looks directly at Zhang Xing and asks exactly what it is she is trying to say. The senior just smirks and asks what she wants to say to her. Xing frowns and coldly denies it, stating that she has absolutely nothing to say. If you are using the engagement to make me back off, then I am sorry. I simply will not ever do that. Lin Can is thrilled by the tension. She is impressed that the girl actually had the guts to strike back. Xing smirks and asks why. Xing looks her in the eye and says the engagement has no real feelings. How much of this arrangement is actually based on anything more than just gratitude toward his parents? Only she truly understood her own heart. She calmly explained that he was like family, and for him, she was willing to do absolutely anything. One could say she liked Li Luo, yet didn't at least, not yet. Ling Qing adjusted her glasses with a smile, offering a word of praise. Brilliant. Her eyes remained fixed on Than, analyzing her every move and pointing directly at her rival's most vulnerable weakness. But Than had probably never considered this angle. A cold smirk played on her lips as she issued a chilling inquiry. So what? Than snapped back, clearly agitated. If you actually care about Li Luo, then you should be the one to break this engagement. She laughed, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Wow, you really have a heart of gold, don't you? Then you can finally be with him openly. Right. Than tried to justify it, claiming this was the best outcome for Li Luo. Thanenga's lips curled slightly as she replied, admitting there might be some truth to those words. Hearing this, a look of joy flashed across her face. Suddenly, Thaneng's tone dropped as she flatly refused calling off the wedding was impossible. With a dead serious expression, Thaneng explained that this marriage was arranged by their masters. And no matter what happens, this engagement will never, ever change. Than snapped, shouting that she was being incredibly selfish and ignoring Li Luo's true feelings. Her eyes widened in anger, her face turning bright red as she demanded answers. What if he falls for someone else later? Are you really going to let your ego break his heart like that? Thaneng chuckled at that. You aren't talking about yourself, are you? Do you really have that much confidence? Blushing furiously, Than shot back, and what if I am? She crossed her arms, smiling brightly as she replied, it is not impossible. The Luo Lam estate is vast. Adding one more person to the household really would not bother me at all. Than's face burned with embarrassment, completely stunned by the remark. Ling Qing was so shocked, her glasses slipped, screaming internally at the absurdity. Kong Thaneng, have you lost your mind? Than stammered in a panic. Senior sister, what on earth are you even talking about? Thaneng remained perfectly calm. No need for more words. If you truly have the talent to pull it off, I really don't mind. Her head was spinning, eyes blurred with confusion. But I care. Than felt humiliated, her mind racing as she struggled to process the situation. She never expected Thaneng to say something so bold. This completely ruined all my preparations. How am I supposed to respond to this? Thaneng stood still, watching her rival freeze up in shock. Watching Than flee in a hurry, Ling Qing let out a long sigh. Looks like she got scared off pretty easily. She whispered a warning, you were a bit too aggressive there. Thaneng remained silent, standing her ground while clenching her teeth tightly. Ling Qing frowned as she turned toward her. Thaneng, you weren't actually serious about what you just said, were you? Then Nga asked calmly, "What do you think?" Ling Qing looked at her closely and replied, "I really don't know, but if that is the truth, I can only say." Than Nga's voice rose with intensity. "You too? Then you are truly a dead woman." Ling Qing glanced over at her and offered a reminder. "Than Nga, you didn't sound like it just now. You sounded more like an older sister trying to pick out a wife for her little brother. I know your feelings for Li Luo are complicated, but acting this way might lead to some serious regrets down the road." With that, Ling Qing changed the subject. "So, are we still going to find Li Luo for dinner or what?" Than Nga gripped the bridge railing so hard it shattered in her hand. "Forget it," she snapped, her voice cold and sharp. "I am not eating." Her face darkened as she stared down. "I am afraid if I see him right now, I might crush his head like this stone." At the training grounds, Li Luo and Dudo led their respective teams to the center, while two instructors watched from the sidelines. Dr. looked toward the arena and asked instructor Shi Chuan, "How much has Li Luo's dual resonance power improved since we last checked?" Shi Xuan stood there and replied coldly, "He still hasn't mastered it yet." He turned to her and added, "If that's the case, no one on your side can stop Dodo." Shi Chuan watched Dodo on the field. Dodo has already reached the first level of the pattern stage, a truly impressive feat. While Cao Luo is currently in the upper flower insect realm, Ngulang is a bit behind, having just reached the lower white insect stage. She analyzed Li Luo's team, noting that based on their overall strength, their chances of winning this fight were not very high at all. Shi Chuan proudly announced, "I truly look forward to seeing what your Three Peaks generation can do." Dodo chimed in, "Li Luo, make sure you protect my sister very carefully." He shot back, "Then just don't hit her." But her voice rang out immediately, refusing to show any mercy during the upcoming battle. That is not happening. In a real duel, there is no room for sisterly affection. Mengmeng made a funny face at her older sister. Suddenly, a voice announced across the arena, "Let the match begin." As Li Luo's team charged, observers noted Li Luo was the main attacker. Xin Fu stayed hidden to track movements, and Mengmeng provided support from the rear while surveying the entire battlefield. Duodwo gripped her weapon and barked orders. "Take Li Luo down now, or we will lose our only window." Seeing the purple glow behind Li Luo, she yelled, "Watch out. That is Mengmeng art which creates deadly hallucinations." As the purple light flashed across them, three blurry figures suddenly lunged forward. Dudu eyes glowed red as blue beams of light struck from a distance. She stared at the three shadows and screamed that they were all fakes. Suddenly, she turned her head and hurled her spear backward with immense force. Yu Lang saw it coming and cried out in absolute terror. He tilted his head just enough to dodge the piercing spear. Li Luo raised his twin blades and thought, "I guess I have been spotted." Yu Lang turned back in a rage. "Li Luo, you jerk, I am coming for you. Do you really think I am just some weak target to bully?" The three of them charged Li Luo at once. His eyes shimmered with a purple glow as he summoned his strength and roared out loud. Tiger Art. Li Luo activated his green jade technique, and massive tentacles erupted from the earth to strike at the three attackers. Duodwo thrust her spear with everything she had, but she was stunned. "This green wood is far too hard," she thought, feeling the energy. The wood resonance energy flowing inside those tentacles is incredibly dense and abundant. Could this green jade technique really be this abnormal? She watched the tentacles strike and quickly scrambled backward to avoid being crushed. Dudu activated her tiger art with a cold snort. "If you want the thief, you have to catch the king first." In an instant, she charged toward Li Luo, enveloped in a swirling aura of blue energy. He stood perfectly still. Suddenly, Xin Fu appeared behind Dudu with a weapon, but she reacted instantly and knocked him away. Li Luo watched them and muttered to himself, "I guess a surprise attack won't work. Even Xin Fu could not get the job done." He dashed toward Dudu and shouted, "Let me see exactly how powerful this resonance stage really is." She snorted back, "That is fine with me." Both of them unleashed their full resonance power, colliding like two violent storms screaming across the battlefield. Twin blades and a spear clashed violently. The sound of metal echoed as their massive powers surged together. Dudu smiled at Li Luo and told him to stop resisting because he could not win. He frowned, feeling his gathered energy being shattered. This girl is truly ferocious. Li Luo's expression turned serious as he thought about Cao Luo escaping. His earlier attack, and that guy Yu Lang. He considered Yu Lang's strange behavior. He has been running in circles this whole time. Something is wrong. Li Luo saw two others charging and realized he had no time for him. He looked at Dudu and Cao Luo, sensing a dangerous aura radiating from both of them. They flanked him from the left and right like charging knights. Their momentum and power had reached an absolute peak. Li Luo recognized the move immediately. It was a formation, but there was one small flaw in it. He screamed at the top of his lungs, "It is Yu Lang, stop him." Duadwo yelled back that they could not wait for him. "Cao Luo, strike now." In that moment, she and Cao Luo both aimed their weapons directly at Li Luo. They pointed their spears straight at him. Man saw the danger and screamed a warning for the captain. Xin Fu raised his sword to block Yu Lang. Li Luo stood his ground, watching the two of them with a calm expression. He closed his eyes and felt two distinct green lights swirling deep within his body. He remembered his training. As the resonance power was guided through his body, he forcibly suppressed and merged those two opposing forces into one single strike. Li Luo snapped his eyes open and leaped high. He carried a surge of blue energy to meet their attack head-on. Man and the others watched the massive explosion. The dust slowly cleared. Li Luo fell back a long way, while Duadwo and Cao Luo also crashed to the ground. Man looked at them and cried out, "Captain Li Luo, are you okay?" She ran to his side with concern. "Captain, you are bleeding so much. Are you going to be all right?" He looked at his hands and laughed. It worked. As the explosion flashed through his mind, he realized in that moment he had finally succeeded. Cao Luo stood up and stared at him in shock. That was dual resonance power. Did he really pull it off? She clutched her stomach and shook her head. No way. That is impossible. It had to be pure luck. Dudu looked at Yu Lang lying on the ground and asked if he was alive. He just gasped for air, exhausted. Cao Luo asked, what happened to him? Duadwo explained it was a secret technique from their instructor. This gathering wind art requires the wind resonance power to circulate through the body. Without ever stopping, it causes extreme physical pain to the user. Their instructor had offered this technique to all three of them, but only Yu Lang chose to take it. Li Luo watched him and realized Yu Lang did this just to keep up with genius teammates like Dudu and Cao Luo. People like Engu Lang might look shifty on the surface, but deep down, their character is as solid and reliable as anyone's. Engu Lang reached out toward Li Luo with a shout. What was she even trying to tell him? I just haven't mastered the gathering wind style yet, he declared confidently. Next time, I will show you my true power. Cao Lak crossed her arms, looking completely annoyed. I have no idea why he's acting so tough right now. Given your skills, wouldn't you have a much easier time if you just picked a gold-class team instead? If you stay here, you're drained and we're drained. Li Luo snapped back. That's going way too far. He asked coldly. Am I wrong? If he hadn't embarrassed us today, we definitely would have failed. Kalak countered him with a calm and steady gaze. Don't think I'm being harsh just because he's your friend. He's not on your team. You shouldn't suffer for his clear weakness. Li Luo frowned and replied, there's no need to despise him for a temporary gap. What if he surpasses you later on? Wouldn't that make you the one holding everyone back? He closed his eyes and turned away. I don't see that happening, so your example is pointless. Engu Lang whispered, forget it. I really was a burden. A faint smile touched his lips as he continued. My strength really is barely enough for a violet class squad. Engu Lang patted his chest, looking upbeat. That's exactly why I have to seize this opportunity and make it count. I'll stay, work hard, and enjoy every single perk of being a violet class student. Kalak was left stunned. What? Li Luo glanced over and thought, yup, there's the shameless and eccentric guy I know. Tao Tao interrupted impatiently. Everyone, shut up. She then looked at Engu Lang with a nod of approval. Engu Lang might be weak right now, but he has been working incredibly hard lately. His fate is up to Instructor Dini, so drop the useless chatter. He looked thrilled at Daodo's instructions. Lang, you are the weakest here. That's a fact. Use that shame to fuel your progress and catch up quickly. Li Luo watched Engu Lang, amazed that this prickly guy was completely tamed by Daodu's personality. There really is a perfect match for everyone. Outside the training ground, Hai Thion said calmly, so I guess we can call it a draw. Dini smiled brightly. Li Luo is quite impressive. Once he truly masters his energy control, he will definitely stand out in the monthly exams. Phi isn't bad either, picking up the win 7 flags technique so quickly. But the biggest surprise wasn't Tal DeWitt, was Engu Lang. He shouted out, and Dini looked curious. Word is the dark caves open next month. Hai Thion nodded solemnly as his face turned serious. Opening early. That means the principal's seal was breached sooner than expected. This is not a good sign at all. Without even realizing it, Li Luo and the other freshmen have been at the Saint Astral Academy for nearly a month now. As the end of the month approaches, so do the high-stakes ranking matches. These matches are an academy tradition designed to push students to improve through constant, fierce competition. Plus, the ranking matches offer a massive amount of reward points. While the group was eating, Li Luo spotted Than Ni and called her over. Her face turned bright red. He whispered, Why do you seem so afraid to see me lately? She stammered back, No, I'm not. Li Luo looked at her. Really? She stayed silent, her face as red as a strawberry. Sitting there, she thought of Than Nga. Why would she say that? It's terrifying. She's lost her mind. Li Luo looked at her with concern. Are you sick? Than Ni exhaled and shook her head. No. True Coat walked up and asked, Luo, do you remember Su? No, I don't. He explained calmly, You might not know, but the competition in the gold class is absolutely brutal. Word is the strongest gold class team plans to take down a violet squad during the rankings. Truecoat thought of those guys. They're known as the Governor Team. He explained that they chose that name because their fathers are all district governors in Great Xia. Li Luo asked, So Su isn't on that team? Truecoat's expression darkened as he replied, That's right. Their leader, Shen Jia, was ranked 10th on Engu Lang's list and almost made violet class, but barely missed out. The other two were top 20. Are you saying they've set their sights on me? Zhao Kuo nodded in response. Yeah. Li Luo tilted his head. So they think we are an easy target. For real. Don't we still have Engu Lang as our fallback? Engu Lang snapped back angrily. Do not talk trash. You actually think you can compare yourself to the prestige of our Captain Dodo. Zhao Kuo looked dead serious. They are definitely going to target your team. Maybe Shikong is behind it, but they have also allied with another top-tier Golden Glory squad. Li Luo was stunned as the other guy continued, saying they would pick his specific team. With Shikong involved and their massive numbers, our small unit might not even be able to survive it. That isn't even the biggest issue today. Li Luo gasped as Zhao Kuo knit his brows together in worry. It just so happens we have a major beef with the team allied with the governor's squad. So, we could secretly form an alliance with another group that wants to take them down. Li Luo looked skeptical, sensing this was a risky move. He burst out laughing. Great idea, I am in. Zhao Kuo rubbed his chin, looking very grim, though there was still one major problem to solve. Even with an alliance, we cannot beat that elite Golden Glory team. Li Luo flared up at that. Then why are you even talking? Zhao Kuo asked hesitantly. Brother Luo, can you guys spare some people to help us out a bit? Li Luo looked at him, calculating the cost. If you need help, then I can only spare Shen Fu, which means man, and I have to survive the governor's squad on our own for a while. After a long pause, he softly agreed. Okay, let's do it. Zhao Kuo cheered, knowing his friend wouldn't refuse. We even came up with a name for this whole operation. Li Luo was curious and asked what it was. Zhao Kuo shouted excitedly. We call it Protect Our Brother. After hashing out the finer details of the plan with Zhao Kuo, the group finally split up. Li Luo, Kinger, and Ngulang headed out to go their separate ways. Li Luo stopped, watching them walk into the distance, as a strange feeling hit him. Was Shi Kang behind him? He could feel it. Shen Lang stepped forward with a smirk. Long time no see, Li Luo? Li Luo looked confused. Shen Lang laughed and kept talking with a wide grin. It is an honor that someone like you knows my name. I guess that means our secret plan has already been leaked, has it not? Li Luo winked at him playfully. Having a bit of ambition is good for a young man. Shen Lang looked intrigued. Well, thanks for the encouragement. We will win this fight and knock every single one of you off your high horses. Li Luo brushed past him to leave, but he did not forget to cheer him. Good luck, but try not to fail and get crushed instead. That would be pretty embarrassing for everyone involved. Shi Kang watched him leave in silence, his eyes suddenly flashing a dark red light. Shen Lang whispered a warning to let it go. He isn't the useless kid he was. He is the freshman genius, who even beat Zibei. But making life miserable for a talent like that is going to be a lot of fun for us. Shen Lang led the three of them up the stairs and into a private room. He looked up as they entered and smiled. You finally made it. Beijuan snapped from the side. We did not even need you guys here. Without any mistakes in the rankings, we could have just wiped Li Luo out. Shen Lang laughed and asked, but did you not already make a huge mistake once before? What is so weird about failing one more time? Rage burned in his eyes as he yelled, Shen Lang, you think I care about your so-called strongest Golden Glory team? He opened his fan as a reminder. Speak nicely. No need for tension. Shen Lang replied. Look, since we accepted the job, we will do it. We will obviously give our all, but I need to know if our reward is real. Will the instructor select new violet ribbon students from our ranks next year as promised? He pressed the fan to his lips and winked. Do not ask that again. Even if you do, we will never admit we said a word. Got it. Shen Lang quickly agreed. Fine, I understand. Back at the dormitory hallway with Li Luo's team, Li Luo stood there with his hands on his hips. That is the story. Man looked worried. Captain, can just two of us really hold them off? That governor's squad is actually incredibly powerful and dangerous. he answered calmly. Don't worry, I will be ready. She suddenly remembered something. Right. Mentor Saint Xuan said we need to officially name our small team. My sister's team is currently known as the Wind Rider Squad. Zhu Lu's group is the Blue Moon Squad. He Ju's is the Golden Gate Squad, named because they serve under the great Jin Xiao. Li Luo blushed at the news. He thought, Zhu Lu gets no respect. And that Golden Gate name sounds way too tacky for my taste. He rubbed his chin and declared confidently, Our team name. I already have the perfect one in mind. Li Luo laughed through the cold. Let us call ourselves the Justice Squad. Xin Fu cringed at the corny name. Li Luo glared. Anyone object? Whoever objects just isn't confident in their own good looks. Man cheered, saying the name was a perfect fit. Li Luo praised her great taste. He then told everyone to put their hands in for a quick huddle. Xin Fu immediately refused so childish. Li Luo threatened him. Man, could you please cook 2 extra portions for Xin Fu? The ranking battle everyone at the Astral Sage Academy had been waiting for finally kicked off in a total frenzy. The arena was on the west side of the academy. Thousands of freshmen were split between different entrances. Once the match started, every team captain was required to wear a special badge on their chest. If a captain's badge gets stolen, the whole team is out. Each badge is worth different academy points. His eyes lit up and he practically drooled hearing the next rule. Defeat a team, and you take 1/5 of their loot. Those are walking points. Man saw him, whispering, Captain, could you please stop drooling while you look at other people like that? Suddenly, a cold snort echoed from right behind Li Luo. He turned around, confused. You're that rock general from the master exam. What was your name again? Jiahua snapped back. You better remember my name. It's Jiahua, and I'll definitely become a violet student. Suddenly, the crowd focused their attention forward. A voice boomed, Attention students. This ranking match will conclude exactly when the sun sets. During this time, fight with everything you have. As long as you keep your badge, the battle continues. Someone shouted. When the drum hits, the silver squads enter the arena first. 10 minutes later, the gold teams entered. The violet squads were the last to go. Once the gold teams moved out, only Li Luo's squad remained. The noisy scene suddenly went dead quiet. The gong rang. Li Luo stood tall, asking, Do you feel it? Like no one can stop us. Man cut him off. Captain, stop daydreaming. Don't hesitate, just give the signal. The captain led them as the slaughter began. A group chased them, mocking their clean escape. Suddenly, Li Luo stopped, making a confused sound. He asked in shock, Is that you, Stonehead? Jiahua roared in pure rage. Who are you calling Stonehead? Li Luo, I'm taking you down today. Xin Fu glanced at Li Luo, warning him, Captain, this is bad. There are many people in this forest. He pointed his finger. Hey, Stonehead. I didn't expect you to be this devious. You're really trying to bite off more than you can chew. I underestimated you. Jiahua looked annoyed. Since the ambush failed, their only choice now was to charge in. Suddenly, the entire area went silent. Jiahua smirked with pride. Instead of letting you violet squads hunt us gold teams, it's better to join forces and take out the strongest first. That's you. Man asked nervously. Captain, what do we do now? Li Luo bolted, looking back to shout, Run! What else is there to do? The three of them vanished instantly. Jiahu's face darkened as he growled. Where's your pride as a violet team? Li Luo shouted back with total sarcasm. Pride my ass. Does pride give us points? He led the chase, yelling after them. "No!" The crowd chased Li Luo, screaming, "Don't let them get away! Catch them!" He glanced back, annoyed. This is too much. No respect for the violet teams at all. Xin Fu asked, "Captain, didn't you say you were leading us into a massacre?" Mengmeng replied, "You can't blame the captain. There's too many of them, and reinforcements might be nearby. Retreating is the smartest move." She turned and smiled. "Right, Captain." Li Luo was startled. Man, you're absolutely right about that." He sprinted ahead, calmly explaining, "As the captain, I have to look at the big picture." Mengmeng praised him immediately. "Captain, you're amazing." Xin Fu asked, "So we just keep running?" Li Luo laughed. "Not exactly. Xin Fu, use your shadow stealth, and help us scout the terrain ahead. If you find a dense forest or a creek, come back and tell me immediately." Xin Fu turned into a streak of blue light and vanished. Li Luo whispered, "So fast. A true shadow general." Then he ordered Mengmeng to create an illusion of Xin Fu. "Don't let them notice we're missing someone. Also, slow down a bit. We want them to think they can catch us." Outside the arena, the 5 elite instructors were also keeping a very close eye on the intense action inside. Dao Sheng watched from above and chuckled to himself. "Why does this Li Luo guy always run away every match?" Su Zai whispered, "You can't blame him. That kid is talented. He's got real ambition and plenty of hidden potential." Sichuan glanced at him, thinking silently, "Honestly, you just have to admit those other teams are extremely unlucky." She watched Jin Xiao, who had his eyes closed. Is he just enjoying the show? Li Luo win this. I'm waiting to mock him. If you let me down now, believe me, you are going to regret it later. Meanwhile, the golden squads were relentless. They finally spotted Li Luo's team ducking into a thick patch of forest. Someone shouted, "Jai Ho, what's the plan?" Jia Ho snapped back, "Don't give up. If they escape, we're all finished." He raised a fist, ordering each golden squad to form a group, while maintaining enough distance to provide backup. If they attack, we'll trap them. Over 10 squads began fanning out, closing the circle as they pushed forward. The students locked onto the shadow ahead and chased after it as fast as they could. "There he is!" Jia Ho screamed. "Blast him!" Power collided in an explosion. He stared at the crater. "Where are they?" A sudden noise echoed nearby. Jai Ho spun around, pointing. "Over there! They are heading in that direction." As the purple mist cleared, someone realized it was just an illusion. "Damn it, Jia Ho cursed! They're just exhausting us." Thanks to Li Luo's clever strategy, the once organized golden squads were now falling into total chaos. Jia Ho shouted to the others, "This is a mess. Our ambush failed completely. We need to retreat right now." Deep in the mountains, the 3 gathered. Li Luo cracked his knuckles, smiling. They've scattered. Now, the real show begins. 2 squads scrambled to get away. Someone barked orders. "Move it. We need to get out of here right now." Li Luo is everywhere with those illusions. We need to leave this mountain before he decides to hunt us down. Suddenly, he stopped dead in his tracks. He stared at Li Luo and his team, sounding completely confused. He groaned in frustration. "This guy is such a pain. We have run into this same illusion 5 times already." The person next to him agreed. "Exactly. He is making us look like a total bunch of idiots." He waved them off. "Whatever. Just push through them. We'll figure it out once we're clear of the trees." Li Luo's eyes narrowed. just walking past us like we're nothing. That's an insult. He slammed a wooden orb down. Vines erupted from the ground, binding the students. Finish them, Li Luo ordered. The group panicked, realizing the trap was real. What's happening? They're actually real. A massive shadow sweep knocked students down while another power caused the rest of them to stumble. In confusion, in less than 2 minutes, 2 full golden squads were completely wiped off the map. Li Luo gripped the badges, grinning. 200 school points in the bag. Congrats, you're out. You lost your gold badges, so stay put. Someone yelled back. Li Luo, you're absolutely despicable. Despicable, Li Luo fired back. You guys tried to walk past me like I was invisible. That is just disrespectful. Honestly, I should be the one offended here. The defeated students began to cry. You kept tricking us with those illusions. How were we supposed to know if it was real this time? Over the next 20 minutes, Li Luo's team went on a rampage. 9 out of 10 squads were eliminated. 900 points vanished. Elsewhere, Jiaho and his remaining men stood frozen. He realized Li Luo was finally hitting back. I didn't think he was this crafty. A few illusions ruined my plan. Jiaho turned to his team. Forget it. Let's just get out of here. They turned and fled quickly. He suddenly stopped cold. A figure blocked the path, eyes glowing with purple light. Leaving so soon? Li Luo asked. Li Luo smirked. Listen, Stone Pot. I really underestimated you. You almost had me. Jiaho exploded. Stop with the nicknames. It's Jiaho, not Stone. He laughed. So, what's the plan? What now? Jiaho scowled. We lost. There's nothing to say. But don't think we'll just hand these badges over eyes. Li Luo chuckled. It's just a game, not your lives. Stonepot, do you want to avoid being eliminated? Jiaho was shocked. What exactly do you mean? He lowered his voice, offering, I could let you go. I might even give you 2 gold badges. Li Luo smiled and added, but you have to do me a favor later. Do it perfectly for me. How does that sound? Jiaho hesitated. Can I ask what the job is? He answered him instantly to keep things moving. I cannot say. But honestly, what is worse than being eliminated? Is anything more important than your lives? He pushed for more. Can we make it for gold badges instead? Li Luo simply raised his blade. Rock boy, if your head is harder than this steel, I will give you 4. Jiaho eventually left looking absolutely furious. Li Luo grabbed the badges and grinned. 700 points each. That is a solid start for us. Mengmeng cheered with excitement. That was so cool. He stayed humble. Actually, this was all thanks to Mengmeng. Without your illusions, we could not have caused such chaos. She winked and smiled. Li Luo hurried her along. Come on, the rank match has only just begun. There is still plenty of prey out there. Over at the viewing platform, someone called out the guide name. Dao Sheng asked curiously, how do the current point rankings look? Hai Thion calmly replied. Right now, Team Feng Qi leads with 1,700 points. Qing Yu is second with 1,600. Jin Men is third with 1,500. Li Luo and the Justice Team are fourth at 1,480. Eliza and Team E the Qiyu are in fifth. Dao Sheng spoke up in a warm tone. The Feng Qi team has 3 win generals. They excel at speed and gathering points. This result is not surprising. Jin Xiao cut in. Do not worry. It is survival of the fittest. Wait until the big fish clash. Hai Thion added that Jin Xiao even put up 3,000 points for the 12 Section Brocade. If this is not exciting, it would be a total waste. He gave a bright smile. If it pushes these freshmen to work harder, I am happy to donate some of my own points. She glanced at Jin Xiao with a smirk. Just do not regret your decision once the competition finally ends. He snapped back. Are you saying I would be bitter if Li Luo actually took the top spot? Not at all. If he manages to pull it off, I would actually be quite happy for him. Jin Xiao shifted his tone slightly, and then leaned in to whisper his next thought. I just doubt Li Luo can handle the pressure of your high expectations. Hai Thion glared back. The mountain peak went silent. Li Luo looked at the three captives and grinned with pure joy. Holding the badges, he said, I chased you for 10 minutes for these. Running was very rude. The student burst into tears and asked, We saw 3 monsters coming. Why would we stay just to get slaughtered? Li Luo walked toward Mengmeng with a smile. The job is finally finished. We currently have a total of 680 points. He started counting on his fingers. 3,000 for the brocade, 5,000 for the rank. It seems we are still way short. This is tough. 3 figures approached from a distance, he muttered. It is Eliza and the Yi, the Q team. Li Luo watched them closely, thinking fast. Qi Ying, Eliza, and Qian. I did not expect an elite team this early in the match. The 2 groups stared each other down. Li Luo waved. Hey there. What a coincidence. He signaled his team in secret to move. He got ready to leave. Eliza smiled. I did not expect to see you here, Li Luo. It is a small world. Li Luo laughed. Silence hung between them. He asked, If I said we were just passing through, would you believe me? Li Luo grinned. I get it. Well, let us go our separate ways for now then, Eliza agreed. She was relieved. Deep down, she knew it was too early for the top teams to start fighting. He led his team away as the sun began to set behind the mountain peak. Elsewhere, Eliza sighed. That was intense. We almost started a real war right there. Qian spoke up. Honestly, I am curious to see how strong that Li Luo actually is. He smiled. Once we start, there is no stopping. Chasing points is just a temporary rush. Qi Ying scanned the area, ignoring them. Points are the only thing that matters right now. She stared straight ahead, thinking to herself. She hadn't expected the captain to be so wary of the squad led by Li Luo. Even if the timing wasn't right, it spoke volumes about his power. In her mind, Qi Ying recalled their shared memories with a sigh. Who would have thought that the young lord from a tiny place like Nanfeng City could actually break through and stand out at the star-studded Saint Xuan Academy like this? She turned to Eliza, lost in thought. Zheng King once said, Li Luo could become the top freshman, but it all depended on his performance in this ranking battle. He urged her, Qi Ying, let's go. After leaving Eliza's group, Li Luo's trio quickly took down 2 gold-tier and 3 silver-tier squads. Li Luo stopped suddenly, his eyes catching a symbol carved into a tree as he called out. Look, it is the signal we agreed on with Xiao Kuo's group. He pushed them to move much faster through the dense, dark, and overgrown forest. The captain of the Sujie squad asked curiously, Hey Zhao Kuo, is Li Luo's team actually going to help us? He questioned again, Are you just bragging about being close friends with them? The girl beside him chimed in. Exactly. Why aren't they here yet? The captain of Sujie shouted, And you, Zhang Fu, why don't you say something to... He glanced over, wondering why out of these 4 specific people. Su Kuo's power seemed the weakest. and he truly couldn't understand why they had chosen him to be their captain. Zhao Kuo grinned confidently. Just wait a bit. They probably got held up on the road. They'll catch up once they spot the mark. Zongbin added, That's right, Captain Su Jie. Don't be so impatient. The captain frowned. How can I not worry? We're trailing the governor's squad. If we get spotted now, we won't even have a chance to run. Just then, Li Luo slowly walked up. He complained about running into a few squads and wasting time eliminating them. Then, Li Luo put his arm around Zhao Kuo's shoulder, teasing, Your drawing is terrible. Seeing this, the Su Jie captain whispered, It seems what Zhang Fu said is true. Only Zhao Kuo can really handle Li Luo. Li Luo's voice apologized. Sorry, I'm late. The captain greeted him with a smile. Hey, Brother Luo, you're not late. The timing is actually perfect, and Brother Zhao has already arranged everything for us on our end. Li Luo listened and asked seriously, So, what is the situation now? Captain Su Jie thought of Shen Lang and explained, An hour ago. The Governor's squad and the Heavenly Blade squad teamed up. In the Governor's squad, Captain Shen Lang is upper tier, while the others are lower tier. All 4 in the Heavenly Blade squad are also lower tier. Out of all the gold tier squads, these 2 are at the very top. Their strength shouldn't be underestimated. Hearing this, Li Luo frowned and muttered, These 2 gold squads are much stronger than the ones we met before. If we are suddenly surrounded, it could actually be quite a threat. The Su Jie captain then spoke very politely. Our 2 teams will take on the Heavenly Blade squad later, but they're stronger than us, so we'll need powerful support from your side. Li Luo closed his eyes and smiled. No problem. Zhao Kuo looked at him, worried. If Xin Fu helps us, you and Bai Mengmeng will have to face the governor's army alone. Li Luo promised with complete calm, Don't worry, I know my limits. He stood still and shouted, Everything is finally ready to go. A blue light radiated from Li Luo's body. He whispered, It's time. Move out. Deep in the forest, Shen Lang sat munching on an apple. Suddenly, a group of people approached him, urging him to hurry. Shen Lang, you've rested enough. Let's go. Lu Qiu said grimly, We need to find Li Luo's team and wipe them out. Shen Lang laughed out loud. The way you put it makes it sound like we're just heading out to slaughter some livestock. Lu Qiu snorted coldly. Sarcasm aside, others might fear the gold-tier Heavenly Blade squad, but I definitely do not fear them. He smiled and replied, Good. That is exactly what I wanted to hear from you. The 2 teams moved ahead in silence for over 10 minutes. Suddenly, Shen Lang stopped, sensing something was wrong. He asked, Lu Qiu, are you guys doing okay? Lu Qiu stopped immediately, remaining completely and utterly silent. Shen Lang threw a blast of spiritual energy backward, instantly shattering the illusions of the group behind him. He stared, wondering, Illusions? That must be Mengmeng's skill. Are they trying to strike us first? Shen Lang scowled and shouted, Li Luo, you're a purple, vibrant student. Don't tell me you're too afraid to show your face. Li Luo smiled. That's a weak taunt. Standing on a tree branch, he looked down and added, But it actually worked quite well. Lu Qiu frowned and asked, Did you manage to scatter the Heavenly Blade squad? Shen Lang grinned widely. Being taken so seriously by you is quite a compliment, but right now, in this place, isn't it just you and Mengmeng here by yourselves? Xin Fu was sent to reinforce Zhao Kuo and the others. Li Luo froze in silence before grinning widely at him. Are you really that surprised that I already know every single detail of your plan? He calmly asked him back. The team trying to join Zhao Kuo. That was your move, right? Shen Lang smirked. Captain Li Luo, you certainly have a very sharp intuition. So, do you really think Zhao Kuo and Xin Fu's squads are actually coming back for you anymore? Li Luo's gaze turned thoughtful. Elsewhere, a massive explosion erupted. Warriors surged forward, their bodies glowing with intense energy as they struck. Zhao Kuo spun around and shouted, Captain Suge, stop holding back and give it everything you've got. Suge nodded. Fine. We're going all out now. He gathered his internal energy and lunged. Straight toward Zhao Kuo. A massive thud echoed through the air. Zhao Kuo watched the captain fall and roared. Suji, what do you think you're doing? Lu Qiu laughed. Can't you see it yet? This is a trap, and you're the prey. They surrounded Xin Fu as a voice rang out. Xin Fu, you saved him. But now you've exposed yourself. He charged forward, laughing. A violet glow student, you're still getting jumped by all of us. Xin Fu frowned, realizing the truth. We've been set up. Shen Lang looked up at Li Luo. Do you really think the two of you can take on a full gold glow squad? Li Luo replied calmly, why not? He closed his eyes. I've actually already considered that possibility. Shen Lang smiled. To show how much I respect you, I've hidden 3 more gold glow squads in these woods. He raised his hand and fired a signal flare. A second later, it exploded in the sky. Shen Lang glared at him and growled, Li Luo, how do you plan on escaping this trap? Li Luo began calculating. 3 extra gold glow squads, that was going to be a real problem. It seemed Feng Qing was just bait to lure Zhao Kuo into the trap. They used that to coordinate this fake alliance. This nested trap was actually quite impressive. Li Luo's expression darkened. You guys really went through a lot of trouble for me. Shen Lang chuckled. If we are going to take you down properly, we have to take it seriously. Just wait until my 3 ambush squads find their way here. He looked up at the tree. You'll realize there's absolutely no escape. Shen Lang gave a smug, triumphant grin. Li Luo, I'll be the one to give you your first loss at the academy. Another massive explosion rocked the area. Xin Fu dodged the incoming strikes. His pursuers shouted, Turns out those fancy violet glow students aren't so scary after all. Lu Qiu swung his blade down hard. You're just a monkey jumping around in the trees. Xin Fu backed away with a cold huff. Cheap psychological tricks. Elsewhere, the battle continued to rage on. Zhao Kuo gritted his teeth, realizing the setup. Li Luo was definitely in serious danger right now. He raised his weapon and yelled, Sugi, I won't forget this. Su Jie knew there was no turning back. He barked out an order. Speed up the attack. Finish every single one of them. The group charged. The Gold Glow Squad unleashed their energy, forcing Zhao Kuo's team to retreat. Blasts of energy shot toward the group. A massive explosion sent bodies flying through the air. Suge gasped, Who's there? Zhao Kuo stood silently, watching the newcomers. Who are you guys? One of them scratched his face. Excuse me? Did you guys call the Tough Guy Project for a beating? People gathered in the woods and began running, whispering to each other as they moved. Shen Lang signaled the move. Go surround Li Luo. Taking down a violet glow squad will finally make us famous. Suddenly, streaks of blue light shot forward. The group scrambled backward to avoid the attack.